Hello, my beauties. Hello, hello, hello. It is Viv, the Quiet Broad Abroad, here today for my live, which is typically around this time. Wait a minute, slippers on the ground or sandals. So, okay. What is the junk behind me? Okay, I think that's okay. That's just a little plug over there. So, I'm going to give you three. I'm going to keep it fairly short today, guys, but I'm going to give you three things to consider if a country is right for you. Is it the right place for you to be? Okay. And like I said, this is coming from experience. So, not just my experience. Hey, if you're just joining, not just from my experience, but as I mentioned in my last live, um, I am talking to a lot of mostly women, but not exclusively, right? Because I'm in different expat groups, um, but mostly women. And so I'm hearing a lot about and moving abroad, retiring abroad, becoming an expat or an immigrant or whatever you want to call it. Okay, we're not going to argue about that today. um, I'm going to talk about these three things that I think are very, very important that I have seen now currently. And again, welcome as you're just joining. It is the Quiet Broad Abroad. If you are thinking of retiring abroad, moving abroad, we're going to get into it. Let me know if you want this to be a series because I do feel that it could be. Now, I also want to say this is not just about Albania, which is where I currently am. Okay. It is going to be helpful to you if you're thinking of moving to Panama, to Portugal, to Uruguay, to Paraguay, to Mexico. What did I leave out, guys? Let me know in the, hey, I see the numbers going up. Let me know in the chat. What are some super common countries? France. Um, Okay, so I'm going to dive right in, okay? And I think I'm going to try to keep this relatively short, but I do want to take your questions. But I think today I'm feeling like I want to keep it on target to this topic of, again, um, I had titled it before, like the dramas and issues that a different country can present, and that it's about a friend of mine, a new friend of mine was saying it's about compromises. But then I changed the kind of the lens that I'm looking at it. But we're going to talk about the compromises you make, but it's more about consider these things in a country that you think might be perfect for you. Okay. Oh, wow. Great. Hi, Nidra. Let me put you guys up. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. It's nice to have you. Hey, Melski. Glad you're here. I think I'm a little bit later today because I think it's better for you guys. So again, let me know if I left out any popular expat countries. That's the first thing, right? That people are moving to. But I'm going to jump right in. And then I want to share one aside because just because I do, okay? It's not a dry factual thing. So there are three things that I'm hitting up against. And like I said, other women. So, and each person is very different than me, but these are coming up. So when you think of a country, right? Like say you think, okay, I really love France. You qualify for France. You can get the visa. It's just, it all looks really good. The first thing that I wrote down is communication style. Communication style of a country. Let me know, have you ever thought of that? Seriously, have you ever thought about and again, this is a generalization, but often generalizations have some truth in them. Not stereotypes, and especially not negative stereotypes, but there's some truth that may be being twisted, but there's something in there. So have you ever thought about the communication style of the people of that country? So let me give you an example. And I always try to change the details, okay? I don't want to get in trouble. Let me put up who else is here. Oh, it is a better time for you. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I think, yeah, because you're way, way over there. I can only think of one time zone. I can only think of East Coast, and then I'm like, ooh, it gets really murky. But communication style, I have seen it, guys. I'm going to give you an example from an expat group I'm in where a fight started. I'm not making this up. A fight started. Okay. This is not uncommon in expat groups, online expat groups. Nobody actually took like fists, nobody had guns, no knives, but um and it revolved around one person. Okay, so, he said she said. So she said something, then a person responded, and feelings were hurt. Okay. Feelings were hurt in this expat group. I came in late because of this expat group, a lot's going on. Okay. Like I said, this is absolutely not just about Albania. So you do not have to be thinking about Albania to really find this valuable. I really want you to think about this because these are problems I'm going to point out. So within this expat group, bottom line, it turned out that the person was um, not American. So the group itself was mostly Americans. Maybe there were some Brits, but mostly Americans. And this person, because they were from another country, they communicated in a way, you guys, and you could say, oh, it's individual, Viv. Of course it's individual. Of course. You're going to have some shy people, you're going to have some polite people, but there is a tone, you guys, and let me know in the chat, like talk back to me. There's countries have a way of communication through their language. Basically, so what happened is this person was not American and spoke very harshly to the other person. And then it went like this, right? And so I'm like reading the thread and I'm like, oh Lord. Now I actually agreed with the majority of Americans in the group who felt that this person, first of all, I'm not sure why they were in the expat group. Like I didn't get. The group is like an expat support group. We ask questions. We know the person understands us. Like, anyway, I was going to give an example that would be funny, but I'm not going to say it. I said it in another video. And somebody else is like, no, that is a real thing, Viv, because I thought I was being weird. It was something I wanted in cotton. And they're like, yeah, you can't find that. That's very hard. I'm like, yeah. So the person then went off. They were like, well, why are you Americans so you just wanted me to agree with you, and why are you so like touchy? The person, again, being from this another nation, did not understand why it seemed offensive what they had said to this American. And it wasn't political. I mean, it got kind of political because it was just like, you people are like this and you're trying to silence me. Guys, it got ugly. I am telling you, it got ugly. And I'm a sensitive person, guys. I really am. I'm probably too sensitive. Now, I'm not saying I can't be like mean or angry or upset, but I also, at the same time, definitely am a sensitive person. And long story short, that person who was like kind of attacking the American method of communication, they did decide to leave. They exited on their own, I believe. Okay. So again, let me bring it back to you guys. This is not about only Albania or anything. This could happen in any country. In France, in fact, I'm not saying what country. I'm just saying it was an expat group. There were hard feelings. People were hurt, and I was like, why was this person in this group? Because the group is a support group for us. And they clearly, to me, they really got a tone and they started to blanket label all Americans as it's like you're policing my language and anyway, you guys. So what do you think? That's the first thing is I'm telling you, you need to think about the country. Are you going to France? Okay. What is the communication style in France? What the values? It kind of goes, I'm looking at my notes where I wrote, yeah, the communication style has to do with values. In fact, this person said, well, I'm from this country. And they named three other countries too. They said, and we who are from this and this and this country, we speak boldly, we tell the truth. So you see what I'm saying? They got their, what is that called? Rankles. They were really like, this is our position. I speak my truth. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. And that question was dumb. And what you're doing is like, they just really went at this young American. Okay, really. So you guys, I'm just saying to you, could you end up in a country where the communication style is different? I have another example that I'm going to give you in a second. Internet trauma. Not trauma. Yes, but that's what I'm saying. I'm laughing now, but you guys, I wasn't the person who felt attacked and I wasn't the attacker. I was just witnessing it and it was painful. It was painful because both sides were hurt. The what I perceived as the angry person, like I said, they left and they left with like, they broke some things in the in the expat group, right? Metaphorically, right? Before they exited, and I don't want to be here because you guys are and then the Americans, and it's rare that I totally agree with like expats, I was like, oof, ouch, ouch, just go. So and I'm finding that now, and I have been, let me just tell you again. So I've been in the UK. I was there for months. I spent a month in France. I've been in Albania since about April. And where else? I know I'm leaving something else off, guys. But do you see what I'm saying? And these expat groups can get testy, and that's another thing. But just be careful. It is better. It is, but honestly, Nidra, the person really did feel attacked and felt very vulnerable because again, remember now I'm talking to us Americans, Brits, Canadians. You're in a foreign country. So you don't have your full, I'm going to actually say you don't have your full strength. I know that sounds weird, but it's that deep, right? You don't quite have all the support you would have. You don't know every rule. You don't know the cultural history. Even in your own country, you don't know that, right? Here you're in a foreign country. So Nidra, yeah, this young woman who felt attacked, and many of us just did. Clearly, we were like, she has a right to ask this for this particular need she was having. Don't why are you attacking her? Yeah, believe me. So, like I said, that's a whole other thing. So the first thing before you move to a new country, think about how the people communicate. I know certain countries when I think maybe Slavic, I'm just kind of stereotyping, but they may communicate more directly, more harshly to to an American and certainly to a Canadian. Okay, you guys back me up. I want to know what you think. Or yeah, if you've had this experience, right? Canadians are known as being sort of the more they're not going to be as possibly confrontational or adversarial as maybe an American could be, especially in these times. So, yeah. Now, Nidra, this was not a Facebook group because it can get really testy there. This was more in a more private group, so it makes it worse. You guys, so let me just explain for those of you who don't know. Again, you're thinking of retiring abroad. This is every country. This is every country. You're going to find a Facebook group, but typically what happens is then there's a smaller, like WhatsApp-based group once you're in the country. So this happened in the smaller group that is typically, so Nidra, thank you for prompting me with that, with your comment. It wasn't in an open Facebook group where a random Joe Schmo is like just going to go off. This was supposed to be a more closed space. So imagine how that could also make the person feel more shaky. Yeah, we are. Exactly. US Americans are a little sensitive, especially now. Exactly. And like I said, this person from a different country took us to task and they said that. Like I said, they named three countries and they're like, here, and I'll tell you, Italy was one of the countries they named. They're like, we just speak our truth and we're not going to be all hurt if but what I found interesting was this person was hurt and like was defensive. So you see how it didn't hold because they were kind of like, we're direct, we say what we think. But then when the Americans said what they think, that person did indeed get kind of hurt. It seemed like, because like I said, they left. Okay. I hear something, you guys. So I want to I want to take a slight break here and apologize. I'm having a little bit of drama over here, and I did not sleep well last night. Um, like I think I got up at around 5, which is unprecedented for me. Like that's not getting up early for me. That's like, yeah, I'm not sleeping. And I actually got up. So I wasn't just like awake, which is what I would do and just lay there. I just that's how agitated I was, guys. I was like, sleep is a failure. This is a fail. I'm getting up out of the bed. And it was actually good. I had a great morning, but I'm a little tired. So, just please forgive me. And on that note, I wanted to say a very wonderful pro Albania thing. One of the wonderful things about Albania is the way the fruits come into season. And so figs, you guys, which again, figs to me are like a weird thing. I'm not in the US, I'm like, I don't know, it's kind of gummy. But when I tell you I'm going to slice it open, these figs are so like literally bringing it home, one of them got damaged. These people, they just got it out of their garden. You have to eat it like in 2 days, and it is like candy. It is so good. So I went back and I bought a bunch. But yeah, like I said, figs to me we're just like figs. What do you do? Why don't I just eat a fig Newton? Like that really was I was obsessed with fig Newtons briefly in my like I was 13 and I'm like, "Oh my God." So I'm just gonna imbibe, and it turns out they're very, very good for you. So a beautiful thing about Albania specifically, and many of these countries, right, that you might move to, a little different than the US. As you guys know, if you're not American watching this, I'm gonna have to break it down for you. In the US, that's part of our problem. We pretty much have every fruit or vegetable we could want. Okay, you know this. Melski, back me up on this. Like, you'll eat like middle of winter, maybe not a watermelon. You can get anything you want. And so what I'm loving about Albania is I made a video. It was like cherries, fresh cherries were everywhere. People were like trying to like throw them at you. And then it became figs. And I'm like, oh my God, you guys are so like, so good. So I'm going to snack while I talk to you. Anyway, what's number two if you're looking at a country? So number one is, does your communication style match? Again, like I said, I'm pretty sure some Balkan and Slavic countries, the communication is very, how do I say it? So I recently had an incident. I will mention this. Again, I'm never going to say any names or anything, but sorry, guys, I'm trying to get right in my chair. Someone just blasted me. It turns out they were from a foreign country. And Niger, this wasn't a Facebook group, wasn't a WhatsApp group, but it proves my point of different communication styles. Because this person was like, "You don't want to go to that country. You don't speak the language. They're gonna see you as a money pit. There's corruption. Oh my gosh, like a bunch of other things. It's as expensive as the US, which is patently actually not true. Um, And I got kind of like sober as I said that because just in case the person watches it, it is literally factually not true. But as they were ripping me a new one, they're like, and it's as expensive as America. And I'm like, it's impossible because the people in that country, their income is not at that level. There is no way. So they just kind of blasted me. And my point with telling you the story is that person was from sort of that region. And I was like, wow. And then a female said to me, "That sounds like a person from that country." Do you see what I'm saying? I was like, "Oh, really?" So I need to get ready because this was a country I was going to check out. And here's a person from that country aggressively telling me, and I don't think it was race, you guys. I know some of you would think that was it. I don't think they had even seen me. There's no picture of me, but it was like, it was like, basically like, "You're crazy, like, it's a stupid idea," and I was like, "Whoa, whoa, you've never met me, you don't know research I've done or not done, you don't know." So, anyway, guys, communication, can you handle it? Can you handle their communication style? Is that gonna irritate you? Because it seems like a little thing, but is it really? Okay? Number 2, this is a big one, this is a big one. Melky said, "Oh yeah, here. Let me pause for a second. Oh, WhatsApp is different. I'm a little reluctant to ask questions sometimes." Yes, it's more intimate. So again, like I said, and I will speak for Albania, in each town in Albania, you are going to find a WhatsApp group of expats. Again, so that's gonna feel more close because you probably know those people. You've seen them versus a Facebook group where they're, like, hiding behind a name. So in a WhatsApp group, I think you have a little bit more of a sense of you're among friends, and so that's why I think also this young woman who asked a very reasonable question, I think really got shook by, like, this person slapping them. Okay? But I'll leave it at that, and then, like I said, it happened to me, and this person was from the country that I'm looking at, slow traveling into, and they're like, "Don't go there. Why would you think of that?" Mm. So I've been through a lot lately, guys. I really have. Melsky, which part is true? Melsky, I need you to write me a complete sentence. I cogitate always. See, now I'm going to be talking with my mouth full of fig, which is probably not an attractive look. So Melsky, give me a complete sentence on which part is true. Hey, Krista, Isabel. Isabella, how are you? My love, I'm raving about Albanian figs, and I don't think I'd had green figs before. I think figs are usually purplish. Because my friend was like, "You gotta try the green figs." And I'm like, "I don't think they're ripe. What are you eating green figs? They're not ripe." She's like, "They're ripe." Anyway, all right. Chris Isabella says, mm, "Oh my God, there's Krista. When I tell you, it really is." And I'm a person who likes candy, who loves sweets. It's so satisfying. And I was looking it up. There really are a lot of benefits to figs. I think in the US, though, you guys, let me know, even those of you who aren't live. In the US, we don't get them very much. And I remember looking at figs and they were like so mushy. I was like, this is spoiled, but you really do have to eat them. You have to eat them very quickly or they will go bad. And that is actually a great thing about Albania. The food is very fresh. You can't be trying to shop once a week. It's not going to work. Let's talk about roles and gender, okay? That's another thing you need to ask yourself, is this country a match for you? And as I said, this is not only about Albania. You need to think about, you're gonna, you're gonna go to England. I'm gonna be honest, I'm thinking I should do a video where I rated where I felt most comfortable, like as a separate video, because it was really clear, actually. I think I might do that. Um, you go to England as an American, you're going to feel like the gender stuff is you're not going to be shocked. But maybe you go to a country where you notice women are treated differently. So ladies, right? And men, men who like women or support women, whether it's their daughter, even, or their mom who's like, see ya, I'm going to move abroad, right? Because that's happening. You need to know this. You need to also be supportive of the women in your life. And some countries, and I know a lot of you know this, and of course I want to speak carefully about it, but not every country can women be kind of just free and easy, and doing their own thing. And I'm going to give you an example, actually. Mm, I'm going to give you an example. Oh my gosh, guys, seriously, I have two more figs over there. It literally maybe be I put two figs in my cereal. Never so good. And two more pending because I'm eating this one. Delicious. So you're getting the thing when it's got its full nutrients. That's really important. So yes, thank you, Milsky. You will love the seasonality. The only thing is, again, back to being a rigid American. If you are a more rigid American, you're going to be pissed because you're like, I want this. Why can't I get this in said country now? And it's like they're like gonna look at you like it's not in season. It, duh. Duh. So let's talk a little bit about gender roles. I do have a story. This is a new acquaintance, was at an outdoor musical gathering, you guys. Okay. Live music. A woman, I would say over 50. Okay, because that's important. Say maybe over 60, was telling me this story. So she's out there, music is playing. It's a cultural thing. I think it's also meant to get expats and for tourists as well, but it's live music and she starts dancing. She said she closes her eyes. She's just feeling the music, you guys. And she said she opened her eyes and everyone she felt. Now I'm sure somebody wasn't, but a lot of people were just staring at her. So she had her eyes closed. She's just enjoying the music. And you can all picture that. You're in a park somewhere. It's very not a big deal in the US, but you're talking about a woman over 60, okay? Clearly over 60, kind of dancing. And I don't think she wasn't twerking, okay? She wasn't doing anything because I know the person. I don't think it went down like that. Um, but just really enjoying moving their body and then open their eyes and like people, you know. And the person said to me, and this broke my heart, you guys, this really broke my heart. Hey, if you're just joining, I'm talking about things to be aware of when you think about countries you might move to, that many you may not have thought of or YouTubers haven't mentioned. So the first was communication style of that nation. Now we're talking about roles and gender. So we think what it was, as her and I spoke, one, she is someone who has, she has some silver in her hair, some gray hair. And clearly they knew she was a mature woman. And we think it was like in that situation in that country, a woman of that country, you guys wouldn't be doing that, wouldn't be dancing to music. And so what she said that broke my heart is she said, that's when I realized I have to leave this particular town. I'm not comfortable in this town. I was like, whoa, because she said it just felt so awkward, you guys. She felt so self-conscious of herself. Now, I don't know if I'd say that that is gender. We thought it was gender because I wrote roles and gender. So as an older woman, probably, yeah, that wasn't the natural for their culture. So therefore they really were like, and staring is natural for the culture. Let me know what you think. How would you feel if that happened? You're at an outdoor venue, and like I said, she wasn't doing anything crazy or particularly like, you know, but it just everybody was just staring at her. Everyone was just staring at her, you know? And she so much so that she's like, I cannot stay in this town now. I will tell you, that was in Albania, and she's gonna shift towns. Yeah, she's gonna shift towns. But it was that just made her feel so self-conscious. So what would you guys think? Again, as a woman, or if you're someone supporting a woman in your life, just I don't want to stereotype the country, but I think it's important, and I don't mean just Albania. Where is she going? What is it? Is it somewhere in South America where maybe the roles are very set? Is it a Balkan country? You know, so is the gender gonna and the way women are treated going to be challenging for you or for the female that you know? Um, yeah, you guys, what do you think? What do you think? Yeah, fresh food, exactly. It can't. Fresh food doesn't last. Truly fresh food doesn't last. And again, that's something that many Americans, because we've seen it last, don't understand that truly fresh food, doesn't last. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So hey, cogitate always. Are you still here? I want to know what you think. And Melsky, I also want to know what you think as well. And thank you, Niger. Niger says, join me in the live. Oh, yeah. And thumbs up. Yes. Thumbs up the live. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, Nidra. So, also in terms of roles, you guys, I'm feeling, and again, other women have confirmed as a mature woman, in Albania, this might be in our own heads, but the nonnas here, the grandmothers, are very, very involved with the younger children. Of course, I'm not saying that doesn't happen in America, but it's very dependent on where you are. And you know how our families are often split. Our families, right? Like grandma may live in Pennsylvania and you move the kids to California. But here in Albania, and I've mentioned this before, but it's a very important thing. The family unit is very, very traditional. And so the grandmother has a role with the younger children. And I've seen grandpas too, I do have to say. I have definitely seen grandpas with like their little granddaughter taking her on the bike, showing her, so the grandpas are there, like to Albania's credit, they're definitely there. But what I feel is a sense that some may not understand a Western woman, a foreigner who is by herself traveling and who doesn't have a role. Are you guys with me? Do you get what I'm saying? It's hard to describe until you see it and feel it. It really is. It's hard to I think those of you are very, you can kind of intellectually understand it, but that's what I'm telling you. When you think about countries, right, that you're looking at to move to immigrate to, to become an expat in. Think about these cultural things that we kind of spout, but you have to really think, how is this going to affect me on the day to day? If you maybe are a non-conforming in gender-wise, I don't even know if they say that anymore, but if you in any way, um, I have another example. I don't want to give the full example because um, I'm trying to see how I can change it. Another person that I know, her appearance is just different enough, you guys, just different enough from the typical Albanian in this case. And it's a very specific thing about her appearance that makes her very striking. Okay. This isn't a skin color, just something about her appearance makes her very striking. And that was creating so many stares for her. Okay. I'm pausing. Mm, 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 mm. You literally could just take the fig, take some toast, only if you want to, carb up, and just smush it onto the toast. Delicious. So yeah, her appearance is a bit unique. And I believe it even in the US would attract attention. So that's important for you to know. It would attract attention. So again, if you go to a more traditional country and you look different, not even so much gender-wise, style-wise, even, you guys. I'm thinking maybe even someone who has locks, for instance, or someone who has whatever your actual race is, or coloration, I should say. Um, if you just look different enough in your presentation, are you going to be comfortable? This is beyond even like gay or gender fluid. This is like just even, does your appearance deviate from what's expected? And so for this woman, it's very unnerving, right? Because again, getting stares. Yeah, again, getting stares. All right, let me read some of your comments. I do get what you're saying, and I'm a bit worried as a 57-year-old with no children. Yeah, no, Melsky, it's yeah, it's not so much the no children. What you will feel if you're sensitive, and again, it depends on the town, you guys. So that's why, thank you for watching this, because I'm really trying to give you the nuance, not just like the greatest hits of go to this beach in Albania or go to this part of France, it's gorgeous. I'm trying to give you the nuance. So in smaller towns, in any country, right, you tend to get a little more conservative, right? It's a smaller town, everybody knows each other. Usually, right? I would say majority of the time. And again, tell me if you found different or whatever. So Melsky, I think it's not even so much that I feel like they don't know I don't have children. In fact, you guys, one of the things, oh my gosh, my nicest interaction with an Albanian, and I can't remember if it was the child who asked me or the grandmother. They weren't related, but those were their ages. And one of them right away asked me, "Do you have children?" Which is very sweet. It's a sweet thing to inquire about. What I'm saying, Melsky, it's more like, yeah, you don't have a role that they can see and understand. So I think you're young enough, and it depends your appearance. But if you look like, okay, you should be a grandmother, and like I said, and again, I'll tell you, so again, this is specifically Albania. The ladies, it's so sweet. The older couples walking hand in hand, or the man has a cane and they're walking together. That walking, going for a walk is a very common thing. So you might feel a little odd if you're especially up in that age group, but you're clearly solo, right? Whether by choice or just at this time you're solo, do you see what I'm saying? And then you feel very aware of, you see the women your age, and their role is grandma, is just loving on the kids, but it's a very specific role. So yeah, it's a very specific role. Hey, Deborah. Deborah, you may want to go back afterwards because I really am covering some things that I think aren't talked about, that I am experiencing and other women are experiencing as we look at moving abroad again, whether it's Albania, whether it's the UK, whether it's a Balkan country, that you have to think of it. So the third thing, I'll get right to what the third thing is. And again, I've mentioned this before, and then I'm going to take, actually, let me take Melsky's comment here, put it up. It was a big eye opener when we talked about Albania, women being raised not to smile at men. Yes, and remember, guys, we had an Albanian he like in the comments. I mean, I believe them they were because they were just like, well, yeah, this is this and this. And they said, yeah, they were raised not to smile at men. But in the US, or I mean, it depends how you smile, but I mean, in the US and Canada and places maybe not England. I think they're more stoic, but we don't view a smile, the average kind of smile, the happy, happy smile, whatever. We don't view that as an invitation necessarily. Okay. So yeah, smiling at men is something I was taught to do as a child, and it's something I've always been rewarded for. Again, yeah. So in some cultures, you're taught to smile because that's what looks good on a woman, right? I'm just simplifying it. I have to confess to you guys, my father, one of the few, well, the things that he would verbalize that would make him angry that I would do. My father was a very, I've been talking more about him, very rage-filled man. Hold on, I'm gonna have to get my air conditioning. He's like, in Jamaican slang, he'd be like, "Why aren't you smiling?" Right? So I was constantly criticized for not smiling, constantly, right? So imagine that. Take that as your example. So if you're a woman and you were raised to smile, or you're from a culture where people smile, right? Maybe a more Southern European culture, or certain African cultures, right? It's more open. And then you get to a country where your smile is viewed maybe as I'm flirting with you, come like, come on to me kind of thing, when you're just smiling because it's just what you do. So that's a serious thing. And as I told you guys, one friend, literally, that was one of the things that was a deciding factor for her to leave a country, right? To leave the country because she said to me, I feel like I would have to undo my personality, right? Think about that. I'd have to undo my personality. Um, so yeah, that really, so you see, I'm learning as I go because I was like, yeah, that is because I tend to also be a smiler, probably because of dad, yelling at me. Of course, I wasn't smiling when he wanted me to because things were not good. But in general, I smile because I'm like, things are okay. Okay, my third thing you really need to watch out for, guys, I wrote down is there an issue in this country that is going to bother you? Hold on. Is there an issue in the country that's going to bother you? And I'm trying to get my vein, to like hit like correctly there. Let me adjust it. Can you guys give me some examples? What are some issues that are important to you? What I wrote down, and again, I've mentioned this before, but not everybody watches every video, and repetition is important because it might be the thing. I wrote down animal rights. So if animal rights are important to you, if animal rights are important to you, and my God, I've always had dogs. I love dogs. You go up to people and ask them what breed it is and yada yada, or whatever. You just really love animals. And then you go to a country where said animal is not treated the way you've ever seen an animal treated, but it's cultural. So you have to look at your country, investigate, is there an issue? And gender could be that issue, right? But I specifically pulled out gender. But are there issues that are so important to you that you would not feel comfortable uh, dealing with that? So, like I said, and I will use Albania, but it is not the only country. And I found this out for sure. Southeast Asia, right? There were a lot of stray dogs and dogs that may not be cared for. You guys, it broke my heart. I saw a dog here and I never saw it again. So I don't think it lived, where like it just had like open wounds on its back and it was thin and it was just a sad looking animal. Clearly was not being cared for and was ill and just um and it was a hot day as well. So what you have to think about or look into is, there, just be honest with yourself. Are there certain issues that you don't feel you can compromise on? What is that issue for you? So animal rights is one, I feel like. Um You guys, what are some other issues that folks would really have to, um, where people are very passionate? I'm trying to think. I think, again, going back to gender and like maybe LGBT, but I feel like LGBTQ, the person would already know, like, okay, I've got to really investigate, right? Um, but I feel like the animal rights issue is something you may not, think about. But yeah, I want you guys to comment. Mm, hmm. This is good to know. And again, I want to reiterate because these things are they're subtle. And again, most YouTubers don't point that out. It's not going to happen to everybody. What do I mean by that? If you're in Tirana, any of you watching, you go to Tirana or you go to a big city in said country, the issue might be different. The issue might not come up at all. The staring that I mentioned in the first two, right? The friend who had this a visual difference that people were just staring, and the older woman dancing just because she was feeling the music and it was an outdoor performance and getting a lot of stares. If that happened in a bigger city, I don't know that it would have been a big deal, right? So again, that's when you have to think about, welcome, I see the numbers going up a little bit there. You have to think about, even though I don't love cities, right? A lot of us are like, yeah, I want a more tranquil, but cities by definition bring some problems, but they also tend to bring a little bit more sophistication or openness, right? So my friend with this visible difference in a big city, eh, maybe some looks, probably still, but less so, right? Um, I don't know, you guys. So the reason I'm really bringing this to you is this is affecting these women. These are real stories that I'm telling you where the women are feeling like, I don't know if I can stay here. I don't know, I just don't know. I don't know if this is going to work for me. So I guess what I'm saying then to kind of shift it a little bit to you guys is, do you have a plan B? Can you up your level of tolerance? Could you move within the country? So if you go to Poland, Poland has some wonderful positives. Maybe there's some negatives. So then could you say to yourself, you know what, maybe I do need to be in this part of Poland that's a little more like this. I'll be more accepted, right? So you guys, I want to know what you think. Yeah. Yeah. So now I'm so funny. I'm like, I don't know what fairy tale it is where she's like, it's too hot, it's too cold. Um, but yeah, because I don't love air conditioning, you guys, but in Albania, where I am, we've had temperatures 99, 98, 99, 98, 99, 97, 98. And as I said, there's not a lot of tree cover that would mitigate that. Um, and all the countries, especially in Europe, we really need to start to look at things like that. Like, why are trees considered unimportant? I mean, obviously, they're not for people who know and people who love nature and who love beauty. But you guys, what I'm telling you is I see cities and because, I watch a lot of different videos of different places and there's like no trees. And I'm like, oh, the trees were superfluous. Is that what happened? You see what I'm saying? They're not superfluous now. You cut down something, and then I'm going to get spiritual on you guys. You cut down something that you didn't make to build, to develop something, and now you wish you had those trees back, right? Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Oh, yes. Okay, so let me go back up to your, yeah, religion. Yeah, hello. I know. I didn't I yeah, Nidra, absolutely. Like if you but I feel like with religion, if your religion is really important to you, you would automatically, but you're right, that's a huge one, no doubt. Probably the biggest one after kinda like LGBTQ, I would say, and then religion, and then maybe you get into other things, but yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Religion or spirituality, yeah. Okay, let me look at some of your comments. Hey, Modern Silver Nomad. In southern Italy, there were lots of feral cats, skinny, scrawny, sick-looking. Yes, exactly. So in Albania, it's funny, it's more the dogs in my experience, and I have been here since April. But and here's why I think the cats get taken better care of. Again, you have to think like, why would the people do this? I always think there's a reason. So cats, because I have not seen any mice here in Albania. And there's trash, but I don't see any mice. Well, why? Because they have those cats out there working. Those cats, I mean, I have watched cats where I can see them, in the US, you'd see them maybe stalking in the grass, but these cats are stalking something in the grass. They're going to eat it. It will be devoured. So yeah, and I love cats. So for me, I just cats are what I really love, but even the dog situation is quite hard. So that's interesting to know about Southern Italy. Yeah. I think like dogs, again, when they are owned in some of these countries, they're owned for a reason because you're feeding them, you're giving them your food scraps. And again, you have to think these countries are coming out of such poverty. I don't know if you guys know in Albania, after they came out of communism, this weird thing happened. So this is really, I'm going to lose some viewers here because this is very Albania specific, but this one thing, it's fascinating. Literally, there were these Ponzi schemes. So after these people come out of being completely controlled, they could not leave the country. It was really strong control. There were these series of like, because the people weren't sophisticated about money and certainly capitalism, right? They invested money into these different schemes that promised them, you guys, huge returns. Like you'd be like, oh, come on, you're not going to make that. There's no way. And they invested some of them their life savings, apparently. It's a huge, huge thing that happened in Albania. So even they came out of communism, they've got some savings, they scraped it all together, invested it, believing, oh, I'm going to get this return. Oh, this is fantastic. And then it was just gone. So, and like I said, I'll bring it back to Jamaica. As I remember, we weren't trying to like feed stray dogs. And if you had a dog, because I remember my family had a dog, the dog was in the yard and the dog was for protection to bark. It was not a pet in that way. So, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's see what music neurons is saying, especially if you form community around spirituality. What do you mean? Well, yeah. Explain that more, music neurons. You're saying, because I think Nigel was saying, like, yeah, you need to check a country for your religion. Is your religion, I mean, are you moving to a predominantly this type of country where what you are just happens to be not, or is it an egalitarian country? And I have to say, in that way, I've read this, and it's the feeling I get in Albania. I think many people are maybe a-religious. There's a Christian, there's Muslim, there's other smaller groups. But it does feel like it's fairly, you're not gonna find that. I haven't seen like a sense of, oh, a Hindu population or a Buddhist or, it's like there are the ones that have been here, but it seems there really is a sense of acceptance if you're within that particular type of Christianity, Muslim, and then people who are, I want to say, maybe just not even atheists. They're just like, you know, it's not a big deal, right? It's not a big deal for me. But I do want to say religion can still influence a society that seems secular. Going back to what I was telling you about gender and roles, there still can be some sense that yeah, the culture is, of course, because what is culture, right? It's a bunch of things together that makes it one. So definitely. Anyway, guys, yeah, thank you for sharing. Yeah, thanks for sharing that modern silver. Nice to see you. Yes, she did. It wasn't just Alicia though, Nidra. I mean, it genuinely was. Let me think for a second. So her and another woman that I like I know, they're telling the truth. And then a new friend of mine, her good friend. So that's three women just that I know of. Okay, that's not like a mob, but saying the very same types of things. Yeah. And again, these women were different ages, different ethnicities, and they were having issues. And I think I'm just going to say we've had some, we've had Albanian women say, yeah, the men are, or they can be. I think a lot of it, I think that they seem respectful within their culture as an outsider, but I think it's again, and again, this is way beyond Albania. If you're from outside their culture, it's almost like all bets are off. The same way, maybe if we went to, I don't want to use Asia, but a country that's more traditional, but it's clear you're not from that country. I think the men, and you guys, this is media, okay? So this is also a fact. When you watch Western media, these men in some of these countries get an idea that, oh, these type of women are promiscuous. Even just, yeah, Western women, they're promiscuous. And, or one Western, woman went to the town and did fool around, and then that spreads in the community, right? I'm telling you, that's also happening. So it's very, yeah, it's complicated. I'm not gonna lie, it's complicated. If you want to be invisible where no one ever smells, go to Poland. Okay, Silver. Really? Yeah. I thought they're like the tiger of the EU. They're roaring up. Okay, so they work really hard, right? The country is apparently just economically really, really exploding in a positive way. So that's interesting. Yeah, that wouldn't fit me. That would be hard. That would be hard. And like for my friend who, yeah, some cultures don't smile. What are you going to do? You're not going to change the culture. You're just not going to change the culture. you know? But yeah, you would want to form community around, yeah, if it's your spirituality, I think I get what you're saying now. Also, right, I got it now, music neurons. Yeah, if you wanted to form community, but you're really, really a minority, like if you're a Baha'i or you're, I don't know, I'm just trying to think like, or yeah, like a Buddhist in Albania. I'm sure there's a Buddhist group. I did see something about a kirtan, which is kind of like it's probably Westerners, but sort of a Hindu type. I, I don't know. So think about that. Think about that. Because I think it's more important than you might think. Okay, yeah. Krista Isabella says, I love animals. I will volunteer. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You just may not be visibly seen as much. See, but Krista Isabel, this is where I'm confused. I'm going to be honest with you. So I'm reading articles on the internet from like some animal rights organizations, or I thought, good sources, and some of them are like, do not feed the strays on the street. And I'm still confused, you guys, about why you wouldn't, because this article I was reading, and like I said, I thought seemed like a fairly reputable source. It said, these stray dogs, right? They have a routine and the culture treats them a certain way. When you break that routine and you start bringing food, are you now training that animal to approach human beings where before it wouldn't? And therefore, are you potentially creating either a situation where the dog attacks, as you guys know what happened to me because I was carrying hot food? Do they then view humans as a source of food, but they're still feral? Or, so I really don't know. I am not bringing food to dogs because after my experience, you guys, I'm not gonna lie, I have been a little shaken up. Um, Someone is texting me that I had said that I am, um, guys, I apologize. Yeah, someone is texting me who I had told that I wasn't able to be with them. Okay, it looks like I got good news, guys. Um, yeah, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it. I know it's like live. The person doesn't know I'm live. Um, and it is an issue. What I'm dealing with is part of the reason I told you that I was so stressed. So I don't want to say it yet. It looks like it's resolved itself. Um, but it has taken months to resolve. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. Um, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say because it's still a little murky. So this goes to communication style. And you guys, that's why I freaking came up with this, is because this is real. I'm not making up this stuff just to make the video. So communication style. I'm going to jump back to that, you guys. So what's happening for me in Albania? Okay, so I'm going to go there. But again, this could be any country. It could be Poland. As Modern Silver says, back to the communication style. Okay, so I'm from in America, I'm from the Northeast, New York City. We are known, like the stereotype is of this sort of aggressive, they speak their mind, yada yada. Now, I've really tempered that to a great extent, but it's still in me. And um, so I was communicating, I expect clear communication, you guys, is what I'm saying. All right. So not to take away from the animal issue. But in some cultures, let's use Japan, not even Albania, right? I have heard you talk to a Japanese person. If you spoke Japanese, you might think you were invited to their house when they basically told you no, but they say it, you guys. I'm laughing because I think it's like ridiculous. They told you no in such a polite way that unless you knew the code, like they said, like, yes, we will leave the slippers for you, or they said something and you're like, oh, that means they really don't want me to come, right? So that's an issue I'm having in Albania. I am having a communication issue with, and it's about a very important thing. And it's been going on for months, you guys. And I'm like, I just need you to tell me what is going on. And they're just like, oh, don't worry. Literally, guys, don't worry about it. It's okay. Don't worry. We'll make it easy. And I'm like, money is involved here. I need clarity. And so that is a for real, like I said, kept me up last night, has been giving me anxiety for a while because I want to do the right thing, but the person is not giving me info I need. I'll get more into it maybe in another video, but again, of course, protecting everybody's identity because I do think that's important. Like I have this platform, but I don't want to be like, I'm not, I know some YouTubers do that, but I'm not gonna you know, but that's been my stress. And the person just texted me and it's still not clear, guys. If I told you what it was, you'd be like, "Yeah, that's totally reasonable," and yada yada, but it's just not. It's just not. So, different communication styles, more oblique. Is it oblique, you guys? Is that the right word I'm looking for? Some cultures do not come at you directly with something. Like, it makes me think of, I was joking with someone, also a New Yorker, about the Southern kind of snideness where they're like, well, bless your heart, aren't you just so smart or something, right? And I can't do it because I'm not from the South, but it's coded the insult, right? You guys tell me if you know what I'm saying. The insult is coated so sweetly, like coated like candy. It's so sugary sweet, Oh, isn't she just lovely? And they're really not. See, in New York, we'd say something probably more. We could still say something. So I'm dealing with that, and it has been stressing me so bad, not sleeping, just like last night, because I just was like, I need this sorted out. I just don't know what else to do, you know? So Krista Isabel, let's go back to the animals. Yeah, I've heard some conflicting reports about just feeding them. What I have not seen people doing that as much, unless that dog, like I said, in a place like Albania, some of the dogs may belong to a bar or a couple of restaurants, and they do feed it. But you can tell, those dogs are like always in that spot, and they don't look scrawny. So but again, feeding just a random stray, I also think you have to be careful. So I don't know, but that's really a good question. It's a good question. And if you want to feel like a supermodel, go to Southern Italy. Okay, what do you mean? I love that. Just over 60? Like, is that for any female? What? I think, okay. I think she is saying, yeah, for a female, if you want to feel like a supermodel, go to Southern Italy. Yeah, yeah, I've heard that can get a little out of hand too. So yes, tell us more. Tell us more. Oh my goodness. All right. One of my major issues is seeing the indigenous or native people treated poorly. Yes, exactly, Niger. So Some people, I'm still perplexed. There's a couple, they thought both were fine. I think it's we travel farther together. I like them, I respect them. They were fine in Cape Town. They really didn't feel the some other people, some other African Americans have felt really treated badly there, like systematically, really not just one dude, just like, why are you in this restaurant? Like, just treated really badly, ignored, like r- obvious behavior. But so Cape Town, I've heard that about. And so, yeah, I probably wouldn't feel comfortable living in Cape Town in the same way that, and you guys know I love Italy. um, I didn't have this experience, but I've heard it shared by many others, again, because it's more recent. Where African Americans might be treated well. Okay. You're a tourist, you're viewed as having money, and there's a whole feeling of, okay, you're not a threat to this culture, you're not bringing this or that. And then on the other hand, people who look very similar, but oh, they're from Africa, are, in the servant roles. Um, and again, I think it's actually fine to, if you pay somebody well, like my mom was a housekeeper, but it's also with this treated badly, which is part of, I've seen that. I don't want to say Albania, but yeah, in Italy, sometimes bosses, some Italians back me up. I've definitely seen this. Again, it's a different culture. If it's a small business and there's the boss can be almost what we would view as aggressive to the subordinates in a way that in America, maybe we'd hide. Like if the boss were an asshole, he would know not to be an asshole in front of like the customers. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, cultures are, yeah. So I know I wouldn't feel comfortable in Cape Town. I'm very aware of things. So even if I went to a restaurant, and I was served, but I was, I would pick up on it. But they loved Cape Town as well as Johannesburg. And the towns are pretty segregated. But again, they came in as, um, high income African Americans. And so they felt like everything was cool and how they were treated. But yeah, that would be hard for me. I honestly, I don't want to see, and I'm not just virtue signaling here. If I go to a country and I see any group, if it's a particular, like say I'm in one Asian country and I see another type of Asian treated badly, which I think can happen, right? There's all these in different cultures. I would still feel bad. It's not about I probably would feel worse seeing a Black person because I'm like really identified. But I don't want to see anyone, I don't want to be vacationing anywhere and see someone treated badly. I just don't. That's just me. And I don't care what their ethnicity is. And I just don't want to see them treated in a way that's demeaning. It's fine to, you're a waiter. In a lot of countries, a waiter is like your full profession, like that's what you do. But I don't want to see them yelled at by the boss or ridiculed or anything like that. Yeah. Niger says I look mean. Niger girl, you might be good in many countries. This shouldn't be a problem. I It goes back to something I also just said, you guys, in regard to this issue I'm having. And you guys, you don't know what it is yet, but like I said, I think this is my analogy. Let me know if you follow me, because I've been a teacher for many years. This is a teacher thing. If you go in strict and really kind of like just kind not mean, but you go in very strict, very rigid, and super like almost dominating, just saying, you can loosen, and the kids usually love you because as you get to know them and you like the rules, you loosen them a little, but you've established like, I am the teacher. Okay, this is my classroom. Okay, and we're learning here. And I'm talking about, where kids can misbehave. That's why. Versus what I did, and I think the situation I'm having trouble in, I went in kind of loosey-goosey, super friendly. And so if a teacher came in like that, kids, I know I've taught all different ages. Kids are like, oh yeah, I'm just going to walk out of the classroom. Where are you going? Oh, you need a pass. Oh, right. You can't. So I think I created a little problem for myself by being super nice, wanting to be liked, wanting to be, again, in the foreign country. So I'm giving you like a fourth thing. Be careful of, it's back to communication. You really have to kind of check how they communicate. I would say almost kind of Go in more formal, I guess is what I'm saying, guys. I didn't write this down to share with you, but be more formal. You can always loosen. If you go in super friendly and smiley, you might then be almost taken advantage of if that culture regards that as being kind of stupid. You see what I'm saying? Because that's kind of what I'm having now. I'm not stupid, but but it's just like it's hard to get strict. You can't go from loose to strict, but you can go from strict to loose. Poland was hard for me too as a chatty, giggly Canadian. Okay. See, I didn't think of you as giggly, modern silver. But I kind of had the feeling Poland was, I don't know where I get that. Is it from movies? And of course, that stuff's not always true, but I totally felt like Poland would be a more dour country. Okay, so yeah, it seems like you didn't love it. You did not love it. Okay, next thing. Hey, Tall TZ, welcome, welcome, welcome. And I'm not going to go too long, guys, because like I said, I did not sleep well, and I'm looking at my phone. My phone's behind the. I said to the person, I don't want to discuss this issue today because Sunday, I'll tell you guys, I said Sunday is the day I talk with my family and friends in the US. Also, I didn't mention that, I do YouTube, but I had mentioned before. So I said it really is not a good day for us to talk about this issue. But during the week, let's pick any time during the week, they still say to me, do you see what I'm saying about communication, how it's not happening? Do you see what I'm saying? I was so clear, you guys. I am a very clear communicator, especially when I get a chance to text it and reread it. Actually, my text can be a little wonky, but not in this case because I reread it. I was just like, not now because I am so exhausted because I didn't sleep, and they still are like, okay, well, why don't we meet? And I'm like, oh my God, I'm, anyway, I know I seem energized now because I get energized hanging out with you guys. I really do. But I'm going to crash after and probably stuff my face with more figs. All right, let's see what else. Let's see. Okay, yeah, Tall TZ. Do you think the stray dog issue? That's a great question, Tall TZ. And yeah, you came in a little bit late, I think. This is what I'm saying. It's so variable. When I was in Vlora, let me just think too. When I was in Vlora, that beachfront, which is where you're going to be, the whole town, very few stray dogs. If I hadn't even known it in my head, I don't think I would have even been like, what's up with these dogs? It just, right? But that's Vlora when I was there. It was right before the summer, and people had said they might have really been also getting the strays off the street. So a lot of it is so variable, Tall TZ. And yeah, you're right, because Mexico, Bali, these countries also have this. Much of the world, animals are not coddled and like, "Ooh, I'm going to take you to the vet." People don't have enough money to do that. Even as an American, and I know a lot of you will relate to this, right? There were times I wanted to take my pet to the vet and I didn't have enough money. So first world country, if we're even using that, versus where people are, they're going to take their animal to a doctor. It's like, no, they're going to spend the money on their child. So I get that. I don't have judgment specifically on that because I understand it, you know. So I think, and in Tirana, I think in Tirana, it wasn't too bad also, because it's such a city that, think about it, dogs like running stray would get hit by cars and stuff. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking when I went to Pogradec, I'm not saying it right, guys. We say Americans are saying Pogradec, but it's not. It's like Pogradec. Pogradec. I was walking a dog with a friend, and we kind of had to shoo off other dogs because it was weird. You couldn't quite tell if they were going to be aggressive. And of course, and the pet dog was on a leash, right? So then you've got your dog on a leash, like held, but the other dog is loose. So, it depends on the town. It's going to depend on the town. Have they recently pulled them off the streets? Did they start a shelter? Did some Canadian or American start a shelter? Did an Albanian, like, I think there is a shelter where I am that just got started because they know it's an issue. And again, guys, it isn't just about us. They want to be in the EU, just Albania now, I'm saying, not Bali, not Thailand or all these other places or whatever. Um, but because Albania wants to be in the EU, it has to meet certain benchmarks. And I'm, well, this is going to be one of them is the animal control or animal treatment. I'm pretty sure that's one of the benchmarks or within a benchmark. So I would still visit. And I do want to say that in any country, my list, it was three things, but I would say visit, right? You have to visit, you have to see for yourself. Um, I didn't know this would be an issue for me, but then again, I really didn't know there was a stray dog issue in Albania. Yeah, I miss that as well as missing how hot it gets. Now, you could say, well, Viv, the whole world is hot right now. True. Um, but like for instance, Pogradesh is 10 degrees cooler than like where I am religiously, like every day. And that's why many people, I know some expats from where I am who are down there just for the summer, okay, which is a whole other video I might make about kind of what people tell you or don't tell you. Um, Yes, this is a cultural thing, the direct and indirect communication style. It can be very stressful if you're not aware of it. Absolutely, Silver Nomad. I think that we have experienced that, you and I. Um, yeah, and I think, if somebody's from your country or similar country, you kind of expect that they would have a similar communication style, but maybe they don't. Direct versus indirect, yeah. And then even certainly in a place like in Korea and some Asian countries, it's more than that. It's that, but it's age, rank, which of course we have that a bit in the US. Like, am I talking to my boss? I'm not going to be like, yo, what's up? Or you're just going to be, hey, what's going, you're going to be a little more formal. But in some of these cultures, it is really different. You would speak differently. You're female, you speak differently. Talking to an older male, you're talking to a child male, right? So there's all this like, which I didn't think I could ever figure out. But yeah, those communication styles. Yeah, the Southern, bless your heart. Bless your heart. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Backhanded compliments. Guys, hold on one second. I hear this would happen to me. Guys, I'm gonna literally mute. I'm gonna mute myself. Oh my gosh. Like I said, this type of things happen to me. Because my energy is open, I I get kind of weird interactions sometimes from people. What I mean is, I literally had a time where people were fainting around me. I know that sounds weird. But I mean, 2 people fainted in very short order around me, and even, like, my colleagues were like, "What is it? People are fainting around you?" Like, I don't know. This is what I was teaching at the college level, I swear to God. Within, like, a week, 2 different and it wasn't hot. I don't know what it was. But, anyway, let's continue on. I just told them I am kind of, I'm live, and I said a conference call. I am live, I can't yeah, backhanded compliments, right? And if you don't know, you might think that was truly a compliment. Oh, they're so sweet. But you have to know the tone, and it could still be a compliment depending on the little additional words. So that communication, again, in a foreign country, though, just realize it can get, because as I said, that's what I'm going through right now. The person I'm communicating with, you guys, like I said, I don't want to get into exactly who it is. They are very nice, but they're vague. They will not give me the information I need. I need that information. And I'm like, please tell me. I need this information. If you want, you're gonna want me to know this. And they're still like, so it's very frustrating for me because I'm like, just tell me. Yes, any age girl in Southern Italy get lots of male attention. Oh, vocally expressed. Okay. Yeah, I want to say that one of the friends who was visiting Albania went to southern Italy and did get a lot of male attention. I think, yeah, yeah, and was something they talked about. It was okay. I don't think they were. I think they've learned not to physically touch you, which was a thing in Italy. Though having said that, I've still heard reports, not directly to me, but I've heard reports that still even like college age girls and women of all ages still that can happen, like actual physical harassment, which I think is it's like crazy. Um, so yeah, seems like the same logic as to why we shouldn't feel wild. Yeah, thank you, cogitate always. Exactly. I mean, I'm still confused by it. Like if you're maybe gonna live, but a lot of times, again, this is a separate video because I'm seeing all this stuff happening. They may think that they're gonna stay. Many of these expats that I see are like, "I'm staying," and then a year later, they're not. And now you fed this dog, right? In fact, someone just said to me recently they were questioning it. I don't think it was Albania though. It was maybe like Kosovo. It was another country, you guys. They said, Viv, what I saw were dogs that were strays, but who clearly looked like they had had owners previously. And I was like, well, what happened? And they really felt that, again, and this is not to slam the person who said she wanted to help, but this is what some foreigners are doing. They're in a country maybe for a year, year and a half. They get a pet, feed the pet, take care of the pet, groom the pet, and then they have to leave. And you guys, many of you don't know, I left my cat behind, which still pains me. I feel like slightly guilty about it, probably more than slightly guilty. Um, I could not figure out how to move my animal, you guys. I don't mean I couldn't, I mean, I got the list. It would have required, I want to say maybe $1,800, 1,800, I'm saying. And visits to the vet and then the paperwork and then the paperwork had to go in time and I had to time everything perfectly. Like this would expire, you have to do this and then you need, and I just couldn't. I knew it was too much. I was trying to downsize my apartment, sell things, pack things up, move them to the friend's house. I just did not have the bandwidth. And I was also actually terrified of what if I get there and I haven't done it properly and now the cat is like in some weird limbo. I can't get the cat out of weird limbo, right? So anyway, so that's why some foreigners are abandoning their pets abroad is you love the pet, but then you either can't repatriate, you can't get the pet back home. That is happening to someone right now. Literally loves their pet, but they're really having to figure out how to get the pet back to America, or you get the pet when you're in the new country, you love it, you're loving on it, you're taking care of it, but then you have to go, and now you've got this pet that is used to humans, is used to good quality food, now it's on the street, okay? So anyway, it's just crazy. And yeah, why not to feed wild animals? Exactly. Wow. Okay, so you were there. I'll never go back to Cape Town because of the treatment of the natives. So you saw it as well. Like I said, I'm sensitive. And I've seen enough videos where people explain exactly what happened, and then I see a few where the people are like, "No, it was fine." And I know enough people are attesting to what happened that I know it is happening. It's a real thing. Not everybody sees everything. Let's bring that back to Albania, actually. Or again, any country. Some people thrive in any country because they may live a certain lifestyle. In the same way, I'm going to give a quick example. As an ex-New Yorker, if I lived on Madison Avenue, for those of you who don't know, Madison Avenue is a very wealthy, it's a beautiful street. And I'm thinking like on the that would be the east side, Upper East Side. It's a very, very wealthy address. Would have like designer shops on it, like, Valentino, like high end designer. And you may be like, oh yeah, New York is this, New York is that, because you leave your beautiful condo and you get in your town car or just in New York, it's probably just a taxi, and you just go. And so you don't see certain things because you have blinders on. And what I'm saying to you guys is, I have my blinders off, partly because of my upbringing, partly because I'm a sensitive person. And so some people will present a country like Albania or any other country, and they may have a great time, but they don't see certain things. or it's just not important to them. Like I said, and this is many parts of Europe. I don't know if they're called Romani, but we would say gypsies. I have a gypsy lady that I'm always giving money to. We're like friends. I'm like, and she says something in her language, and I'm like, I don't know what she's saying. But even it was so cute. This little aside. I saw her where she doesn't usually sit. She was walking around, and I literally was like, "Oh, wait, I know her." And she saw me and she smiled, and it was like it was a natural smile. It wasn't just like, "Oh," she was kind of like, "Oh." And I was like, "Oh, but you're usually here in front of this place, sitting down." And I was like disoriented, right? But some people maybe that wouldn't bother them, or like I said, I was seeing some of the children barefoot. Um, some of the gypsy children like barefoot and like looking like they hadn't been able to clean themselves or to get clean. And anyway, it's just now you may not see that, and then that's a very complex issue. I know with the gypsies, like, do they want to integrate? How much? Some do, some don't. It's just complicated, you guys. Yep. Bye. It's good to see you. Resting beef. Nigel, you're still explaining your meanness. What? We believe you now. She really isn't, guys. Yeah, she's a nice person, but I think you do have like don't mess with me energy, which I just call like a strong, which is good, especially when you're traveling. Resting bee face. Hey, Royce. Hey, Royce Morga. Did I say that right? I probably not. Probably not. Oh, please thumbs up, you guys, if you haven't already. It doesn't cost anything and it helps the video go out. And yeah, I said I was not going to go long, but um, I'll probably stop at an hour and a half. I think the reason why we don't see many strays in America is because they're being put down. In other countries, they're free to roam. There's also that. So the woman, because yeah, I didn't want to tell you guys the country yet. I was like investigating going to, right? Because I want to get a little ahead. I don't want to say and then not. So the woman who's like, "Don't go to that country. That's my country," and it's terrible. Um, then it was like, "Oh, the dogs are still an issue." Um, Niger, I don't know if you've heard me say, I've seen really bad dog situations here in Albania, and then and somebody else just confirmed it. I've seen dogs living their best life. I'll never forget in Vlora, it's in my video on Vlora. I saw a pack of dogs. I managed to get my camera out in time, and they were running in a stream and they were running towards the ocean. It was beautiful. It was like a pack of wolves. And because two of them waited, and I saw them stop, and I'm watching them, and then from under the bridge came another dog. So they stopped to wait for their buddy, and then he came, and they were like, and it was beautiful, right? So those dogs got food from somewhere, or maybe they were eating fish. I don't know what these dogs were eating. So, you know, I think we put them down, and I know in the South. Okay, this is what my dog-loving friend said, because I'm from the Northeast US. She said a lot of the dogs that we would get in the Northeast are from the South. And there would be these weird, like Ridgeback. There were these certain types of dogs because in the South they weren't neutering. So a lot of their dogs would literally be shipped up to the Northeast where we would adopt them. So I don't know, but it's just not something you're used to in America, I think, except in like maybe a very, very poor rural area. Um, but we still have a different mentality about dogs. We still generally understand or see them as pets. Not understand, we see them as pets, not as animals that roam free. My mom literally feeds 8 stray cats. This is the thing. And I do see that sometimes in Albania. I saw this lady very well dressed, close to the cat cafe that I told you guys about that you should support. It's in Shkodra, Albania. Right now, she's taking care of, I would say, at least 60 cats. Please send her money. I saw it with my own eyes. She is spending money taking care of these pets, neutering, the vet visits, that she's gonna have to get medicine for them. And so somebody was outside her place, and she was like, you could tell, I think she felt awkward, but she was feeding 2 adult cats right outside the cat cafe. And of course, I think cats gather outside the cat cafe because I think they're like, wait, maybe I can get in there. They look like they're living a good life. The woman I think she's still trying to get it open. she has like a window, so she puts the ones that are ready for adoption in a space where you can see them from the outside. I have heard she's having some difficulty, so I don't know if it's legal or permits and stuff, guys. So it's just a lot. It's a lot. Yeah. Oh, that we just put them down. We just put them down. Well, first of all, it's America, so we're gonna call somebody if you know what I mean? We see a stray dog, it's like, oh my God. I think what I've loved about Albania, I have to say, is there's a little bit of a, if it's not my business, I'm gonna leave it alone. You guys, you saw my video. I think I had two separate videos where the just random stray horses in a city. They're just random horses. And everybody's just like, just riding their bike, ding, ding, ding. Actually, nobody rings a bell with their bike. And it's just like, yeah, the horses. So people tend to leave things alone unless I think maybe it's a real danger, but people aren't trying to like call somebody and all of that. Hey, solo traveler, welcome. Welcome, welcome. I'm getting ready to go. I have to leave a cat I really love, but she's not my Melsky, she's not yours. Are you feeding her for somebody else? Like, she's not yours, you're gonna leave her. Um, hmm, okay. All right, I'm gonna just go through any comments about that. So again, the three things that I just covered were in looking for a country and trying to decide if it's right. Let me know if you want this to be a series because I think there are things that literally none of these things occurred to me. The communication style did not occur to me. It's only as I'm experiencing it, am I like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal. The roles, the gender roles also, I'm okay. I'm okay. I think, like I said, because I think if I were in my 20s and 30s, I don't know. I think being a mature woman also, I'm just like, I've seen it all, and this is how it is. But you do definitely kind of have this outsider feeling, or it's possible to, based on some of the gender or roles that women might have. And you may not have been aware of that in the final. Like I said, some issue, you guys mentioned religion or spirituality. Like if your religion is different or a minority religion in a country, that could be really problematic. I feel like people would have thought of that though, but not necessarily. In fact, a dear friend of mine she says she's Christian. She's spiritual though. She says, I'm Christian, but I'm spiritual. And, her thing was, I think she feels fine. Like she's in Albania. So yeah, she feels fine. But our conversation was more about her not pushing on the expats. You know how in the US, especially in the current climate, one set of folks might, okay, well, this is my religion and you should all be my religion, basically, is what I'm going to say. And this expat here is like, you know what, I'm not going to, when I talk to fellow expats, I don't have to proselytize. I don't have to convert them. She's like, I want to be loving, and that's how I'm going to show my religion. And I said, see, when I see somebody and I know they're a specific religion and I see them act in a moral way, in a kind way, you guys, I literally get interested in like, what is that? What is that belief system that you're really exuding? That's how you don't get people by preaching at them. I mean, of course, some religions do, right? And instilling fear. So I just want to say to my friend, she probably won't see this, but I really admire that because I didn't, she didn't come at me right away with like, oh, I'm this, this type of Christian and da 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 da. It was not an issue that she was going to try to like convert me or make sure that I knew and I needed to start doing this. Okay, now I'm getting allergies, guys. No idea what's going on here. Melsky says, that's true that they do ship a lot of dogs up to the Northeast from the South. Yeah, I did not know that, guys. Like I said, I was in Lululand. I because I never owned a dog personally. So I'm 62. I've never owned a dog, except when I was a little girl in Jamaica. And I mean, it was my parents, okay? And I still remember because I think I wanted to call him Lassie because he was a collie, if I remember right. It was a beautiful dog. I don't know how we ended up with it looked like a purebred collie, but we did. But I've never owned a dog. I've owned cats. So I didn't know anything about the movement of dogs in the US and just what would happen. But yeah, my friends like, oh, most of the dogs come from the South. I was a secretary of a spay and neuter charity in Syracuse. Oh, Melski, that is so cool. I taught in Syracuse for some years. I taught in yeah, I taught at a community college, which was where I got the burnout. But yeah, that's so great that you were doing that. Now I see it. That's something I really could volunteer and do is just working with the dogs and the cats. Just in my earlier life, it just didn't occur to me. But now, like I said, actually from this woman, Karen, with the Cat Cafe in Skodra, um, I got to go and do some volunteer a couple times and to just pet the kittens. And I'm like, this is so therapeutic. I'm doing good. I feel good. You meet good people, right? People who love animals often, well, I don't want to generalize, but often are really good people. So yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, Niger, you're familiar with Syracuse too. You have family there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I was only there because I was teaching, and Syracuse, yeah, it's just, I could feel the lack of industry in Syracuse. What I mean by lack is in Syracuse, unless you worked at Syracuse University or the hospital, they have a very good hospital. I felt like the town was a little bit depressed. And I worked at another college or community college. So for me, Syracuse, Nigel, I have to tell you this because it is pretty funny. It's totally nothing to do with this topic, but I arrived there and the cab driver, and this happened over and over. He's driving, he goes, "So where are you from?" He looks in his rear view and I go, "Oh, I'm from New York City." And he's like, "Why'd you come here?" You guys, seriously, why'd you come here? Over and over. And I remember thinking, did I make a mistake? Because so many people in Syracuse would say that to me, you guys, that I was like, is it that bad? Right? Every time you're from New York City, why would you come up here? And I'm like, well, I got a job. They're like, oh, you're teaching, you're at SU? No, no, no. I'm at the community college. Oh, okay. Why are you here? In the supermarket. You came here from New York? Oh my gosh. And the same thing when you travel. People love you. They will love you automatically, or if they hate Americans, they'll also hate you. But if you say you're from New York or Boston or LA or Philly, any big city, you guys, that they've heard of, it has really warmed my heart because, a kid might say to me, "Oh, where are you from?" or whatever. I'm like, "New York." They're like, "Oh, I love New York. I love Brooklyn." And I'm like, "Have you ever been to Brooklyn?" There's nothing wrong with Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn. They're like, "No, no, but I love Brooklyn." Um, so that I have to say that is something really sweet about being an American in a country that's still pretty okay with Americans, that the people are kind. And when you say New York, or like I said, I'm assuming LA or San Francisco, they have they just brighten up. And it makes you feel like a little celebrity, a little bit, because they're just like, you know, just like the people in Syracuse, they're like, "Oh, well, what are you doing here?" You know? And I'm like, "I'm visiting. You're visiting. I want to see this, I want to see that, or beautiful waterfall you have." So that warms my heart. I really like that. I live in a cat sanctuary. She's one of the cats. Are you kidding, Melski? You live in a cat? Okay, okay. I need more details on this because you've piqued my interest. I live in a cat sanctuary, and she's one of the cats. You guys, guess what country I'm looking at going to? I'm gonna put it out there. Those of you who've stuck around, so I'm gonna call you out. Solo Traveler, Miss Nidra, Melski, because I can't keep a secret. What country do you think that I am contemplating? And I'm gonna bring you guys with me if all goes well. God, Goddess willing, is what I say. So Royce, are you still here? You want to guess? Cogitate, always, Modern Silver left. Who else? Tall Teasy. Who else is here? It's so nice to get to know you guys a little bit over time. And Krista Isabella, Music Neurons. Oh, Lord, there's a lot of folks today. Deborah Howard. Who else? Did I miss anybody? Alpine Star, who was here right at the beginning. Guess, I want you to put in the chat, what country do you think I'm considering? What? Put it in the chat. Now, I'm not going to confirm or deny, all right? I cannot confirm or deny this rumor, but I will say if let me see what the guesses are. Let me see what the guesses are. And yeah, Nigel, thanks for participating so much. And I'm looking back at your comment where you said internet drama. I know. Girl, be careful with these expat groups. Just hold your tongue at first. Don't go in there, blah, blah, blah. Go in quiet. Go in very quiet. Yeah, no, Niger says, I don't want to go back to Syracuse. I went in 24. Really? Okay, because I didn't want to insult you because you said, you have family there. But like I said, I'm just trying to be honest. I'm not trying to be shady, but it's nothing to do with the people there. It felt like I said, the industry, it used to be a silver company. There used to be industry in these towns. There used to be factories that people, men and women, could buy a home. You guys know what I'm saying. And Syracuse had fallen on hard times. And so while I was making pretty good money as a professor, I was, again, this goes back to South Africa. I was acutely aware that, yeah, if I was a doctor or nurse, those people are doing good. From the hospital, uh, Syracuse University. So it's a huge university, so many people, but there was a group of people that were just not thriving because there was no work that, like MAGA's talking about Make America Great Again, there was no factory work that it just had gone. And there were reasons it had gone. And so, yeah, I didn't love it. I did not love it for that reason. So I hear you. Yeah, did not love it for that reason. Syracuse is so much snow. Don't even talk about cold. It was the snow. The level of snow was off. Like, oh my gosh. Siri is listening to me and responding. Will you stop? You guys, literally, my phone was like, I'm turning my phone off. It was like listening to me and like lighting up and taking down what I was saying and probably shared it with Facebook. Um, Syracuse had the type of snow where you get a foot of snow, you'd clear your car to drive to work, you'd be at work, and then there'd be another 6 inches of snow at the end of the day. And I'm like, I just cleared this morning. Why I'm going to do this again? And that literally did start to get on my nerves. I'm not lying. That got on my nerves. Yeah. Oh, and you have no plan. Milsky has no plans either. Guess what country, guys? I should give a prize. I can't think what the prize would be. Because, hey, before I go, also, so write what country you think that might be my next country that I'm going to explore, um, to see if it is a better fit for me. To see if it's a better fit for me. Like I said, there are towns in Albania that I could revisit, Pogradec being one of them. But my two friends who are there, and again, this is what happens if you want to be an expat. I don't want to sound like I'm whining a lot, but you guys, so I had two friends there, right, in this town in Albania, and I was like, okay, I think maybe, I think I'm going to settle there. It has much more nature. Both friends are leaving. One's thinking about leaving and is probably one's going to leave. And the other one is like got their ticket and they're leaving. So, yeah. Okay, so solo traveler says Ireland. I wish. I wish. Listen, solo traveler. I don't Ireland has upped its income requirement to like ridiculous levels, and you know why? Because Google and all these tech companies freaking moved into Ireland, and the housing is just gone crazy. The Irish themselves, they can't afford, like, yeah, the bad stuff that happens. So it wasn't just really expats, it was something about the boom that brought outside money, outside level wages, and that it's screwing up because I've been treated so well by Irish from Ireland. And they also have that reputation. And Probably more than one, but interaction, and I think Ireland is a beautiful country. If somebody wants to sponsor me to go to Ireland, please find me. Montenegro. I said I wasn't gonna say the country. I'm just gonna look. But I definitely said no to Ireland only because Ireland. You know, yeah, look at the Irish. Okay, so Montenegro, I'm just gonna put up I'm not gonna say anything else, but yeah, it's not Ireland, unfortunately. Because I could definitely visit Ireland, of course, I should say, and any of these countries like Montenegro, I've never been to. I could definitely visit. It's a matter of I'm really looking, as you guys know, who do follow me. My journey was not to be an endless traveler. And some people are, right? Oh, I'm a digital nomad. I'm too old to be. I don't want to be a digital nomad. Slow travel is good, but I wanted to put down some roots, you guys. And so I think the hunt is going to continue. So I don't really have a way that I could stay in Ireland unless some tech company wants to hire me to do intuitive tech stuff. I don't know. And my nails started growing and I'm not sure what I've done. Like I think my diet is better. You guys, seriously, my nails are like growing and they're like hard. And so I'm like, okay, I think that's nutrition. So it makes me want to use my hands more delicately. So I'm just going to read the towns out. I'm not going to confirm or deny. Ireland, no. Montenegro, Georgia, Portugal, Netherlands or Greece. Okay, cogitate. How come you get two? No, kidding. Yes. Many of these are a yes if I could, right? So Georgia, Portugal, Netherlands, and Greece. Good guesses, really good guesses. Spain, yes. I feel like Spain, I will say Spain for me, and again, many people of African descent, it's, it varies so much. You can go and have a great time and just be adored and have friends. And then you also hit people who are like, wait, are you African? I don't want you in my country. So Spain is a little problematic for me, guys, for that reason. As I said, it may or may not happen, but I know it's happened to some. Georgia is definitely an option because of that 1 year. Malta, Malta. I told you I used to have dreams about Malta. So Melski, you got that from that. I used to dream I was in Malta, and I literally did not know where Malta was, you guys. And then I did astrocartography. I'm not going to go into it here. And one of my major lines, either my sun or Venus, I believe it's my sun, like literally goes through, there's ocean and there's Malta, and the line goes right through the nation. So there's something to that. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that. You guys are like fountains of information. Syracuse is the snowiest city. Melski. Melski. Where were you when I got the job in 2003 and I took the job? I swear to God, if you had told me that, I am like finicky enough to be like, you could have saved me a lot of trauma, Melski, because that was the job that broke me. Like I said, I am not lying to you. You would clear it in the morning. You go to work. At the end of the day, it's as if you had done nothing to your car. Your car is covered, covered. Anyway, I don't know. With global warming, it's going to change. Hey, wait, Shayna, I may be mispronouncing. Come on, you're not old. It's just your choice. No, no. Oh, it's the moving around part. I do feel that as you get older, I think overall people tend to want to more hunker down, and there are a lot of reasons for that. But yeah, I slow traveled. Like I said, Shauna, and sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. UK, Italy. How did I leave Italy out? UK, Italy, France, Albania. And like I said, I still think there's a mysterious country that I'm leaving out. Okay, anyway, Melski says Romania. Okay, that's another possibility. That is definitely a possibility that could be affordable. And Georgia. Spain, I've kind of basically like Netherlands. Oh, Netherlands. Greece. Are there pathways? So again, all of these countries, I would absolutely visit Montenegro. So I don't want to critique each of the ones but I literally feel like I have intel on all these countries. Like I just said about Spain. So as a Black woman, I think I'd be fine. Like nobody's gonna throw a rock at you. But it's kind of like, and it's just some cities, but you also have to remember the thing with Spain too, you guys, or it would really be on my list. Spain is having a lot of anti-tourism like protests, not just people feeling it, but like protesting, getting spray guns. Some of you don't know, they came out with water guns and they literally, to me, it is an attack. If I'm sitting at a cafe and I've paid and I'm having and I haven't done anything to you and you hit me with a water gun, that is an attack, right? It's water, but in that moment, I don't know what you put in there. So that puts me off Spain. Just that. And again, it's in the major cities of Spain, where they're overrun. They truly are overrun, and it's not the tourist's fault. The government needs to put some strictures in place. The government needs to say, no, you can't have cruise ship disembarking this many people, such that you literally can't walk the sidewalk, you guys. The sidewalk is completely full, and you can't, like, if I were a citizen, I would be angry too. Like, why can't I bought some meat. I don't eat a lot of meat. I eat a little, occasionally more fish. I bought this and I can't get back to my house because some tourist and sometimes we're also not dressed properly, apparently, going into churches dressed inappropriately, stuff that's just disrespectful. So Spain is really having trouble in its major cities with tourists and they're fighting back. Yeah. And so I'm not feeling that. Spain is problematic for sure. Oh, and yes, that's a whole other thing. Thank you. And is it Cueta? I I don't know if I want to say, but uh, you know, and sorry guys, there's some distraction going on. Um, that was very scary. To me, that was some sort of, and I don't know if this is the right term, not false flag. Somebody clearly organized that. 60,000 young men did not, even from social media, did not all at once decide that they're going to now, within 3 days, breach. Mind you, it's on Africa. They didn't, it's a part that Spain claims is that it's on Africa. Those of you who don't know, look it up. It is true. It is a bit scary. And I would say that whoever the people were, because the volume of people, and they were mostly young men. So somebody told them or incentivized them. You will not make me not believe that that's what happened. It's some sort of movement to smack Spain back down. So Spain has stood up for some things. Some people think there's a country behind it. I know I'm now going like deep state on some of you, but just like I said, 60,000 young men suddenly decided to swim, to get to this town so that they could get in the EU. And of course, some of them really wanted to get in the EU, but how come all at once in this short span? So somebody incentivized them. A belief is that they were Moroccan, um, that Morocco just literally was like, yeah, okay, we're not going to stop you. They're like, they open, because they have strictures, they have gates, they have fences, they have rules. And so somehow these people all just breached. So there's some complicated stuff going on there that I don't know that we're fully ever going to know. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I don't want to share that yet, as I said, because solo traveler, because I want to. Oh, yeah, we've got to do your interview. Solo traveler, did you reach out to me? Let me put it again. And if you are a woman near 50 who is traveling solo and you want to be interviewed, reach out to me. I want to see, if you're a good fit. But solo traveler, we definitely wanted to talk to. So assistant at in the flow of magic.com. Okay, here we go. Reach out to me at assistant at in the flow of magic .com. Solo traveler. Yeah, I don't want to share when I might depart because yeah, of several factors. Milski, yeah, Milsky, where does collagen come from? Like I know a lot about healthy eating, but I don't actually know where collagen comes from. Because I feel like collagen comes mostly from like meat, but I'm trying to think of what I've started supplementing. Or even like seaweed. Where does collagen come from, you guys? But yeah, no, my nails just like took off and I was like, whoa. Um, and yeah, I don't even like to I don't want to put nail polish because your nails, I believe, are slightly, obviously not completely porous, but they will absorb things. And so that's just not, I'm not going to put something like that seals the nail like that, unless it was convinced it was some really natural and healthy brand. I started putting like coconut oil. Um, but yeah, it's something dietary has shifted. Um, so yeah, if you are watching this and you are a woman who's near 50, 48, 49, and you feel like you might have just wisdom to share about moving abroad, starting a new life, starting a new chapter abroad. It could be anywhere. I don't do, again, this is not an Albania channel. It just is where I am right now. And so that's why I continually want to interview women from all over the world, whether you're in Mexico. I've interviewed women so far who are in France. I still need to re-interview her because we focused on Albania, the person I'm thinking of, and they went to France, and I feel like I didn't maybe get all the France info or intel, but so France, Albania, definitely Mexico. Um, I feel like I'm missing some people. We are going to get Solo Traveler on China and other countries, it sounds like. So very well traveled. Um, Who else? Yeah, but I want to get, oh, and the friend who did Mexico, she also talked to us about several other countries, not just Mexico. She did a whole, series of little hops. And I do want to say that I'm going to close with this, you guys. And then again, put your last comments in. Um, well, one, and I'll do a mini reveal. But I do want to say, do not beat yourself up. Like Melsky or any of you, Nidra, just know the country you may think is going to be it for you. It's going to, that's the one. It's going to rock your world. You don't know till you have what, as I said, slippers on the ground. You have to touch down there. I do think often you also need to give it some weeks. Some would say months. I don't think you need months. Maybe I'll make a separate video. I'd be really curious to know what you guys think. I do not think you need months to know if a place is right for you. Unless you're like obtuse. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that because maybe something. I think you need a couple weeks because, of course, there's a strangeness, right? Guys, you land, the language is different. People literally look different. Their hairstyles are different. Their clothes is different. Their shops are different. Everything's different. The food is different. So at first you're going to be like, so I do think weeks and maybe for some people months. And then again, as I've always said, you may need different towns. Do not judge a country. I should not go to Portugal and be like, well, I didn't like Lisbon, so I don't like Portugal. Are you serious? That is like landing in, let's say, San Francisco, right? It's a very unique place. Well, I didn't like America. I was in San Francisco. It's like, that would be idiotic because, especially with America, there truly are so many different. There's Maine, it's totally different. There's Vermont, there's Montana. It's like different worlds. So give yourself, don't feel bad if your first country is not you're just dating it. You fooled around a little. You just, you weren't feeling it. You're like, I'm gonna have to break up with you. You were really nice. You treated me good, but I'm just not feeling, I love this analogy. I'm just not feeling the passion that I need to feel. It's okay. I mean, I feel a warm fuzzy. We could chat, we could have dinner, but you're just not doing it for me. Okay, your country could be that. And you're just like, I'm gonna have to go. Cogitate says, I agree. Also, at first, the news made it seem like they were invading exactly. Because and I had just watched a video about this place not 6 months ago because it is a very odd place. There are two towns, and the towns are locked down, you guys. Again, we're talking about Spain. We're 60,000 young Moroccan men. I saw a few women, but when I tell you it was 99% men, it really was, which also is like, hmm. Um, they made it sound like they landed at Europe and they breached the shores. They did not. This is an outpost in Africa that Spain has for a couple centuries said it owns. I own this. I know it's not on the continent that I am, but it's mine. Okay. And I do not agree. I don't think it's a good thing because of course then you had comments, well, the Democrats are going to do this at our southern border. And I don't think that people should be able to move unimpeded across because I mean, I hate to say it, but it's true, this idea of a ship. And the ship has this many people on it and it's got this many resources. At a certain point, it can absorb absolutely, but there's a certain point where the ship is going to tip over. And I know that's not a super popular, but I just think it's factual. It's not good. I think I think we could, but we're not going to equalize and the resources are not being shared. All of that is true. All of that is absolutely true because if I were a young Moroccan man and though again, Morocco is not a country typically they were saying it's like, oh my God, I have to flee. You know, they were not people fleeing wartime. Okay, because that is also different. So yeah, I think it was not a false flag, but it was definitely some sort of test or some sort of threat. Definitely. So I did not take it at face value. I'm like, this is crazy. This is orchestrated because there's no way it couldn't be at such levels. So you guys, if you don't know what we're talking about and what this young lady mentioned before, just watch a video or two on it. Yeah, there's something going on that we're not seeing all of it. And it is definitely stoking right-wing sentiment about invasion, and that makes me I always then wonder, well, so look at who benefits from this? Because it is scary. You're seeing people jumping over walls and then there was one video, and I don't know that I totally believed it, of cars being burned, because I'm like, why would they burn cars if they want to stay? Like, you wouldn't burn cars and set things on fire if you wanted to stay. So I think it definitely was used to amp up a lot of fear. And I think that also some anti-Spain sentiment. And so you have to look at who would want Spain to be like the bad boy. And people on the internet have some theories. I'm not going to say them because I shared one theory with the person and they had a question. I was like, you know what? I don't really know why, but there's something going on behind this. There's something going on behind this. Okay, so let's jump back to collagen and Viv's nails. Collagen is naturally found in animal flesh like meat. I but I had so little fish. Like maybe in 1 week I had like one whole fish. So I think there's other maybe subnutrients, solo traveler. Oh, okay, because it was Melsky who brought it up. I think there are other nutrients that may also lead to the strengthening of nails because yeah, I mean, yeah, I did buy this thing, you guys, like 3 weeks ago that was awful. It was basically a hot dog. I know. I don't eat hot dogs in America. I bought this thing. It was this Albanian sandwich, but it was like a fast food sandwich. And it turned out it was just this hot dog in like a weird sauce and then baked into the bread. It was awful. I don't think that did it. And if it did, I'm happy that the hot dog contributed to my nail growth. But I was like, I'm not coming back to that place. I even said to the man, I go, if I like it, I'll be back. And he kind of smiled and I was like, yeah, no. But that's a particular type of fast food in Albania. It's like a hot dog wrapped in the bread, like it's in the bread. And sometimes they put the French fries in, you guys, which I really don't like. There's like meat, but they put the French fries in with the meat. And so you're eating a sandwich of French fries and meat. Tell me if that sounds good to any of you. Oh, so Niger says yes. I totally agree with you. I'm keeping your country options open. Yeah, and that's something that I did not do. And I do think that was my mistake. And that's why I'm sharing it with you openly. I was sure I didn't necessarily think Albania would be permanent, like 10 years. I'm gonna stay till I die. But I thought because of the year thing, I thought I'll settle for a year. And yeah, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. So yeah, I mean, that is the announcement. So in the ones you named, definitely some of them are in the consideration. So again, folks said Ireland, Montenegro, Georgia, Portugal, Netherlands and Greece, Spain, Georgia, Malta, Romania, and no, not Morocco. Morocco was another thing. Funny enough, I've heard some people are like, Morocco to visit if you choose wisely, it's inexpensive and you can have a beautiful life. But Morocco wasn't on my list because I did feel a little iffy in terms of gender, and I'm sort of spiritual but not religious. So it's interesting. Niger says, I eat a lot of fish. Yeah. The fish in Albania, again, don't sleep on these figs. If you're visiting or you're watching, get the figs. And they're green, and so you think they're not right, but they're delicious. Um, the grilled fish in Albania, again, because it's got a whole coastline, is delicious. I do really like how they do it. No, they don't do it spicy, but when it's grilled and charred and they've got a little something happening on it, it's so fresh. It's very, very tasty. So I have been having fish literally once a week, if that. Again, I don't think that would do that much nail growth, but who knows? Who the hell knows? Yep, no bone broth. No bone broth. I really plant-based. My body seems to do better on the plant-based. I mean, I feel better. And occasionally I'll be like, okay, maybe you need more protein. And almost whenever I try like actual meat, fish, I definitely digest fine. Like there's something about it's lighter, I digest it. But like meat, my body is, and of course the really pro meat people would be like, oh, you just need this and this. I do think there's a spiritual thing to it, and I do think there's something about lightness. Meat, the heaviness of meat, just not vibing with where I am right now in this stage of life. Doesn't mean wouldn't have a small amount, again, judiciously, like, but yeah, it's not, and I'm not craving it. If I were craving it, except I do like lamb. Beef doesn't do well with me. Chicken, apparently, for my blood type isn't great, and doesn't call to me. I'm not like, oh, I'm craving this chicken. But lamb, there's something about the fat in lamb that I just know my body's like, oh, that was good, you know? So yeah, love this food discussion on a travel. I'm not a travel channel. Okay, I was gonna say a travel channel. Most bone broths don't contain enough collagen to have any benefit. Okay. Listen, my family though, with a bone, this was where I was like the weirdo of the family. Um, my family they eat the bone. It's a Caribbean thing, but I think it's also other cultures. I'd be really curious that my sister, my mom, my dad, again, I'm the only one in the family. I nibble on the bone, you guys, and I put it down, and my family would be like, "You're done eating that? Like, there's still meat." And I'm like, "No, no, no, there's no, I've eaten it. I've eaten that. You see the bone. The bone is visible." My family would pulverize the bone, pulverize. Like, so I'm not, I don't know. I was just born bougie. I was born this way. I'm just like, oh. And they just look at me like there is really something wrong with this child. And then they get the marrow, yeah, they were like, suck out the marrow. And I'm like, ew. I can't help it. This is literally my natural reaction. So yeah, my family is just like, she's just weird. Our bodies gradually make less collagen as we age, so I have been using a liquid collagen. That's so interesting because I believe in synchronicity, and so it's interesting you say that, in terms of aging. Yeah, and the collagen, the drop in collagen. Um, I might look into that, solo traveler. I I feel like seaweed can give me collagen, though. I don't. I have to look at where it comes from, but thank you for that. Italy, no, I wish. I'll be honest, just like Ireland. I I I'm pretty sure I'd be happy in Ireland except for the gray weather, except with global warming, it's warming up and getting sunnier probably. Italy, I have not figured out how to get into. I don't qualify for the retirement Alpine Star. The retirement visa, the income is higher. First of all, it's higher than you need to live in Italy, so that's wrong on that level, right? Like it's higher than most Italians are living on, or many of them. But they've set it high, just like Mexico has absolutely set their income requirement way high. Um, so yeah, I can't qualify for Italy unless I took a job as a teacher, Alpine, and I'm too tired to go back into the classroom, and it's just not I don't want to be, you know, wrestling Italian kids into their seat. Now they're probably not as misbehaving as I'm thinking from the US, but most of my teaching was college teaching, and then I did some high school, a little bit of middle school, and a little bit of substitute teaching at elementary when the kids are still sweet. At least they were when I was. So I don't think I have the energy for it. And so I am really bummed because Italy is absolutely where I would like to live. And we'll still work on it. California burrito has fries in it. Oh, Melski, I didn't think a California burrito had the fries in it. Is that news to you guys, or am I the only one? I really thought a California burrito, I mean, was like burrito stuff, certainly avocado, but I didn't know it had the French fries in it. It's certainly tasty in the sense of like getting that fat and that grease. But here in Albania, that level of food, and they do say fast food, pacheri, there's a phrase they always use with it, and then it often say fast food. I feel like the quality of their fast food is not up to what I would necessarily expect. And I'm not a big fast food eater and I don't want to be, but yeah, I got this, like I said, this weird hot dog. I finished it, but I literally finished it with like, oh, I paid for this and I'm hungry and I didn't even want to finish it. And that means it wasn't really that good, honestly. Many Caribbean, see, I know, I know. I reveal my Caribbeanness even if I didn't want to. I mean, pulverized though, Solo, who is Indian Caribbean. It's like, yeah, yeah, I knew it was a Caribbean thing. I knew. It's just like I would then I don't know if it was my sister, but there'd be a pile of like bone scraps. And I'm just like, I'm a Virgo, you guys. I have a lot of Virgo Leo. I'm a Virgo Leo. My birthday is coming up. So I'm a Virgo Leo. So it's weirdly, I'm sort of like even my hair. And when I was younger, I really had that leonine look. Like my hair was huge, right? And my face was wider. You know, as you age, things fall. Okay. But I have the Virgo, which is like, ew. Ew. Like, stop. I can't. So yeah, it's the thing with the bone. Like I said, they just treat me with such disdain. Like she doesn't even know what real food is. And I'm like, I ate the meat off the bone and I had a little bit of the fat of the skin. And that's about as far as I'm going to go. I'm not going into the marrow now. We are not stranded on a desert island. And I haven't been fasting. And then I just saw this chicken. Okay, let's just be civilized. That really was how I felt. It doesn't, I feel like it can help though. You know, I say that this is more coming from like Ayurveda, that it helps build the yin. And so I think it can nourish, but it doesn't literally contain collagen, right? But it can nourish the collagen production, I'm pretty sure. That's coming from some knowledge of Ayurveda. Oh my goodness, after visit Sicily in February, I could totally live there. So you were in Sicily, and Sicily is also generally pretty nice to people of color. There, of course, has been a historic, immigration and mixing and all of that. And I've heard, which doesn't mean that there aren't some Sicilians that maybe, but from multiple people, I've heard that um, if you're tan or you're not, you feel pretty good in southern Italy. You feel pretty like like, hey, we're cool with you. We're happy you're here. So yeah, heard good things about Sicily. Sicily, solo traveler, has a scheme where you only pay 7% tax. There is a tax scheme for southern Italy that includes Sardinia and mostly southern Italy, where you get a huge tax break, probably less than have to pay to America. And there is a tax treaty, so it can be, if you can get, if you want to live there, it's a real good possibility. Hey, Sherry. Wow. Of course, folks are coming in now as I'm getting ready to go. I'm from the Caribbean and they'd shoot the bone. I know. The chicken bone. Exactly. The chicken bone. Though I have to say with my family, I'm going to say some goat, like some, oh gosh. Yeah. Curry goat. Ow. Ow, you guys, I'm sitting in like lotus position. Ow. And my knee seized up. My knee's like, you can't do that anymore, Viv. Um, yeah, some curry goat. I think the bones would get chewed too, pulverized, completely pulverized. I'm like, you're like a machine. You just like, but I do believe it's good for you. And clearly my family knew it. Yeah, the chicken bones are demolished. I take collagen supplement. It really does help the fingernails. Okay, so guys, there's something I'm eating. I'm telling you, I'm not taking collagen. I don't know if it's the nuts, because so I'm going to dispute something with Solo Traveler. This is how Western science thinks. It's like, okay, so it has collagen, but many things the body can make. And so I have been taking some supplements and I did improve my diet. I absolutely can tell you that. My diet, like I focused on it, and the nails began to grow. So something I'm using or taking is increasing, and I'm like 99% plant-based. Like I said, I had that weird hot dog. I had fish once every 2 weeks because I'm really still trying to budget, and the fish is delicious. But anyway, I have a story. I won't share it with you because it will gross you out. Yeah, Virgo moon. Okay, yeah. I think I'm also Virgo moon, Niger. That's so weird. But in Vedic, because I trust the Vedic more. And so let me just think for a second. And they use moon signs. I think in the Vedic system, which is slightly the degrees are slightly off of Western, right? And I trust it more because supposedly it's really tracking where the stars are. Western is now, the stars have shifted and Western is like fixed or something. I can't explain it. Not an astrologer. You probably know what I mean because you know astrocartography. So yeah, I think I'm actually Virgo moon. That is so funny that you're also Virgo moon. Um, you need to do a segment on astro. I know, but I don't know a huge amount about it, except you know what? Maybe I will, because I did order, you guys, I ordered this, I paid in American money. It was almost $20, guys. I swear to God, it went, I don't know how, I thought it was like 12. Okay, so maybe it was like 18. I ordered my astrocartography, and Niger knows this. She ordered her chart too, and my friend Jaleisha from, I think it's Black Woman Fly. I always say Black Girl Fly, but I think it's Black Woman Fly. Check her out. I think she's going to go live actually later today. In fact, let me ask her. I love to do that. I love to send some folks over there. Um, she told me about this astrocartographer, and I ordered one of her sets. She has many sets, the whole world, Africa, Asia, Europe. Like, what are your cities? You put your birth date, time, all of that, right? The basics that you need. Of course, it's computer generated, which it has to be. And she'll give you like 200 top cities for relationship, romantic, career. And so I did it, and it's only causing me more confusion, is all I'm going to say right now. Let me see if I can text Jaleisha and ask her what time she's going to go live. I would love to do that. And I might mute myself. Guys, my phone is almost full, and so I literally can't get my phone. Yeah, WhatsApp will not open. My phone is that WhatsApp is like, okay, so I'm not meant to do that then. I was gonna but check out Black Woman Fly. I'm pretty sure she's going to go live. If she isn't already, hold on. She will be. She will be. Hold on. Let me just check this. How do I do that? Guys, hang on. Any other country guesses of where Viv might? Here. Fly. Oops, mistyped. No, fly. FLY. Let's see. Because she usually goes live on Sunday as well, but a little later than me. Huh. Let me see if she's got anything planned here, guys. I'm really in another tab. Let's see. Oh, she's gonna go live at 8. Okay, so she's gonna go live in an hour, 10 minutes. So check her out. And she's gonna be talking about what makes a woman powerful. What makes a woman powerful? Self-trust. And that is very good. Maybe I'll hop in her live. Yeah, I can't text her to well, she'll believe me that I told people about her live. She's got a fabulous red lip and then a bald head. It's very striking, very beautiful. So go check her out in about an hour and 10 minutes, because I'll probably eat supper as well. So yeah, the astrocartography, I should just do that. I should do a separate, because not to sound too crazy woo-woo, because some of my people watching this are not woo-woo, but the astrocartography is not lining up with where practical lines up, if that makes sense, meaning certain practical things that are like factual are informing my move, but the astrocartography is like, no, you should go over here. And where it's saying I should go for certain really good things, I don't want to be in that region. So I really am conflicted, and that's why I don't even know if I'd make a video on it, because I think a lot of people, since they haven't heard of it, they'd just be like, I don't know what you're talking about. But I might. I think I might, and I don't care. It'll just be people who are interested in it. So should the astrocartography, it's going to inform, but again, it's in direct conflict with where I feel I can go with ease. And maybe once I get to the nation, I may go to some of the places it's telling me, but it's in a whole other region. So I want to be in one region of this country that I'm looking at, and I'll take you guys with me, versus the astrocartography is, no, you should be in this part of the country. Like it's telling me south and I want to go north for practical reasons, or vice versa. So I really am kind of conflicted, and I think Nidra knows about that. So I'm just like, I don't even know, because I am woo-woo, but I also really, what I want to trust is my intuition. And my intuition is not speaking right now. Why, you guys, has this ever happened to you where WhatsApp will not open? It just will not open. And I know it's because, hold on, I literally got rid of so many videos. I got rid of like videos that were so big, they were clogging up my phone, and my phone has a warning on it, like, it's full. And so I emptied all of that, you guys, and it's again, I think I didn't empty it enough. Yeah, I didn't empty it enough. Um, oh, solo traveler, thank you. Okay, Nidra says it's 2 yeah, it's 2 p.m. We'll see. I don't want to say 2 p.m. Hold on. How do I say this? She goes live at 8 p.m. European Standard Time, like the time of Paris, the time of not London, the time of Paris, the time of Albania. So yeah, Nidra, in your zone if it's 2. But again, remember, everybody's not in your zone. So that's why I even said you know what? So she'll be live. It's 6:50 now. So guess I was just talking to you guys who are here. She'll be live in an hour, 10 minutes. So it'll be 8 o'clock CET time, or CEST time, Central European Standard. It's it's in one of those two. Okay. Yeah, so do check her out. It'll be interesting to see what she says. Solo Traveler sent me an email, so we're going to interview her, and Nidra had wanted that, as well as a couple other people for sure, who were aware during the chat, and hopefully we will do a podcast, and she'll share about teaching in various countries. I want to say Solo Traveler has mentioned maybe like 4 countries, and is currently in China. And I think that would be great for us to get, um, you know, yeah, it is in Europe. But I have to be really honest with you, with these fires, not just because of fear, but it's more, if Europe is I made a video, guys, please do watch it. I made a video about, it has a fire on the front, and yeah, It I think the geopolitics are gonna change. I think that because it's funny, right? All these like Moroccans supposedly wanting to get into the EU. I mean, they were still on the African continent. I think climate change is really gonna rewrite powerful nations because if a nation has a good climate, that's literally going to be as good as maybe not having oil, but do you know what I'm saying? Like it's that's going to be a plus. That's going to be like check, good climate, no not a lot of fires flaring up for whatever reason, it's just not warming, click. So only because of that, I what I liked about Europe, well, I mean, there were several things, but what I liked, I mean, it's a well-resourced, as we said, we could say for, we know why it's well-resourced, continent, region. I like the general, it's not civil rights, it's just more like the quality of life, the not quite that full-on American rat race, struggle, grind, right? Like just grind. Things like having healthcare, basic things that most people would like. I mean, that was what that was a large part of what was drawing me. I do like the Italian language. I think it's a beautiful language. And I also, this is getting really woo-woo. I know I've had past lives in Italy. And again, the astrocartography, as I've said before, my Venus, which is obviously a very important line, and my sun line cut right through Italy at a diagonal and hits Sicily, right? The person who said Sicily, hits Sicily, solo traveler. Like, and this is I felt drawn to Italy before I knew astrocartography. So it wasn't like, oh, Italy fits me, I'm gonna go. No, I was like, oh my gosh. And you guys, if you haven't watched it already, I made a really beautiful video. I would love for you to give it some love. It has a of how I began just the interest in living abroad, not even so much travel, but living abroad. And it began with my dear friend who was like a brother to me, passed away. But it's a beautiful video I made, and you guys, it's just the previous video, and it is really, I put my heart and soul into that. I do start crying, so I'll just warn you. Um, but he was so wonderful to me, and here. I'm going to try to put it. It's called How and Why well, actually, I gave it different titles, and I'm testing which one does better. But the thumbnail says "This trip abroad changed me," and you see maybe the picture could be bigger. My really handsome. Everybody thought he was my brother, my bestie, and we first traveled together. And so I just talk about actually about Italy. If you are interested in Italy, just some of the differences I noted. Yes, this was years ago, but I definitely tell some funny stories and then end with, you should watch all the way to the end because something really cool happened related to his passing that was deeply spiritual that you could not make up. So do check out that video. I'd love it if you did. And like I said, I can't tell you the title because I'm literally testing 3 titles. You can do that with YouTube. So hold on. Oh my gosh, I clicked on the video and I'm making this face, I froze it. Here, I'm going to put it in here if you want to watch it. It is really, really good. And I think maybe about 150 people have watched it so far. It's really about friendship. It's about grief, um, connection, all of that. It touches on a lot of things. And I feel like it's going to do well. It may take a slow start, but I think it's going to resonate with a lot of people. So I don't think it's not so much sad as definitely touch into some sadness and the loss of this dear friend, but about kind of doing things now, acting now while you can. So yeah, I put it in there. It's in the live chat, and I'll put it below as well. So yeah, Solo Traveler says, "Oh my goodness, I also feel like you do, Viv. Italy's calling me as well. I just couldn't get enough of it and haven't stopped." Wow. Okay, that's interesting, Solo, because I pictured you just in China. Like I'm like, She's in China, she's working." So that would be really weird to me to leave China, go to Italy. Talk about culture shock, you guys. Imagine leaving China, just what we know of China, some really vibrant cities, and but it's I mean it's very specific culture, and then to go to Italy. Wow. No, Italy, that's what my video is about with my friend. It changed me. Maybe I should title it Italy Changed Me. I think I didn't title it well, you guys. Duh. I may have to retitle it because the video really is about how this trip to Italy with my dear friend, we both loved it. We loved it and how it changed me and gave me the idea like, oh, I could live. Could somewhere else have a nice life? I thought only America had a nice life, right? Because I'm, immigrated to America. And so the story around America, it is a country of immigrants and those who were enslaved and their descendants. And of course, also the native people that did manage to survive. So to see another country, it just opened my eyes like, huh, I think I could be happy here. I thought I had to be here to be happy. So it was a good video. Oh, yeah. So she says, I absolutely love China and my life here, but they will kick me out. No. Are you serious? Okay, see, I just learned something today. Did you guys, China will kick you out when you turn 60. Like you can't, could you retire? They just don't want you to retire there? Is that it? Like, is it because they feel like if they opened it up like that, people would be a burden on the system? I have never heard that. And I feel like I was such a geek. I did not know China would, or is it because you can't teach? Like they stop you teaching at 60? Fascinating. Okay, when we do the podcast, we'll talk about this. We will definitely talk about this. Oh, thank you so much, Sherry. Sherry says, I watched it yesterday and shared it with my friend. Yeah, I mean, oh, so guys, yeah, that's the other thing I'm going through here in Albania is a lot of grief. And I think it's because, so that's why, like I said, I apologize because I did not get sleep last night because of this communication issue I'm having between my American communication style and what I believe is a more Albanian communication style. And then all this grief coming up, which I think is maybe because of feeling safe enough in Albania, right? Like, oh, okay, I do have a great story. God, I'm a talker. I do have a great story. So this young man's the only young man that he was kind of hitting on me, I'd like to think. But he turned around at a restaurant. He's like, "Can I ask you one question?" And I was like, "Oh gosh." I really was like, I know where this is gonna go, because I was like, I don't know. Anyway, he was cool, but what did he say? Where was I going with this? He's like, oh, guys, you're gonna laugh your head off. If you know me, just even seeing me on YouTube, I'm talked, oh, where are you from? He says. I says, oh, I'm from New York. He goes, oh, I love New York or something. I go, yeah, yeah. Where are you from specifically? I said something. I go, Brooklyn and something. He goes, no, I think I said, have you been to New York? He goes, no, no, but I love Brooklyn. And I'm like, oh, he goes, and I go, oh, have you been? He goes, no, but I like BIG. And I'm like, no, he doesn't mean, he goes, so he's like, I love like I think he's Notorious BIG. And I was like, oh my gosh, because all people know, the media is so powerful, right? The media is what people have a concept of. You could tell he totally loved BIG, right? So I'm like, he didn't ask me if I know him. Somebody else asked me, it was very sweet. This person was young, who asked me if I knew somebody famous in America. And I'm like, no, no, I don't know them. So he was like, yeah. But this was the point I was going to make with this young man who asked me this. He ends with, you know, after telling me he loves BIG, and I said, yeah, in Brooklyn is cool. You should, you get a chance to visit. Oh, I know what I said. I said, oh, I know there are a lot of Albanians in the Bronx, and he's like, yeah, um, in Brooklyn, I think, but I believe more in the Bronx. But then he says to me, it just got kind of quiet. And he couldn't really think of anything else to say, whatever. And he even apologized. Here's why, because he says, I've been in Germany. He goes, and so he goes, my English isn't coming. I go, no, 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 I get it. I says, yeah, if you've been, it's not your first language. But I was like, yeah, if you've been in Germany, you're gonna have German as your like, bleh, you're gonna try to talk to in German. So I was like, no problem. But he goes to me, he turns back around, he goes, yeah, no, welcome or something. But he goes, you're safe here. He's like, just know you're safe here. And you guys, actually, I got sad as I said that. So here's an Albanian. This is what, again, people are seeing of the US. I think he meant it in like racially. I do. Or at least like nobody's got guns. Maybe not even racially, but just like we don't have like a lot of shootings, okay? So I was so touched when he said that. He goes, "You're safe here." And I was like, huh. You know? I was just yeah, I was really touched by that. Okay, so it's the work visa, they kick you out. So you you've served your purpose. I had no idea. I've never heard anybody say that. So I wonder if that's a new thing. We're gonna have to talk about that when I interview you. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Nidra. Yeah, that was a great video. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, right. Me struggling with the Italian cab driver. I'll never forget it. Yeah, give me my. And you guys, I had just gotten the cheap ass bag from Chinatown. See how I can weave that together? In New York City, Chinatown was where you can get anything, pretty good quality. You guys, this bag I got in Chinatown took me on many, many trips. I want to say lasted me for like 10 years. This was a cheap ass bag I got on the no, did I get it on the street in Chinatown or in a store? So anyway, me and the Italian cab driver, you got to watch the video. But the one damage, you guys, the one damage this thing had was him ripping like one of the handles. So it had like multiple handles, right? Like the long way handle, the top way handle. And that fool ripped one of my handles, fighting to try to get me, oh, I'll take you. I'm like, you lied. One of the members of our senior leadership recently got her permanent residency, but I don't qualify for it. Huh, okay. It may be the country you're from. I'm thinking solo traveler. But this is so interesting that I'm like really interested and you're going to deal with it tomorrow. You see, I feel like we really are all interconnected. So this is an issue for you. You're going to find out more. Um, yeah, I actually think I know some more right-wing Americans I've heard traveling to like go live in Russia. Believe it or not, that's another story. I wonder if I could get more details on that story and share it with you guys or make a video. Pretty sure I know someone who went to Russia to live and oh yes, yes, I do. It came back to me now who the person is. Took their kids to Russia. Of course, the kids don't like it. The kids don't like it. I think one kid is okay, or I can't remember now, but for like a conservative traditional life, it's not working. I think China I could see, again, as long as you don't run afoul of, depending who you are, but I could see some parts of China being certainly interesting to work for some time. Let's see, but I think I would enjoy life. Oh, solo. I have no doubt. I have not been to China, but I can say without a doubt you'd have more fun in Italy. The food is amazing. The freshness of the food, though, of course, China, I think especially, I mean, they have those wet markets and stuff, but you're talking more Mediterranean. So your fruits and veggies are just going to be like just popping. And the people are certainly, there's a warmth to the people. Houses are cheap. I'm not saying houses wouldn't or living wouldn't be maybe inexpensive in China, but yeah, it sounds like it got under your skin. And what we always say, and I really am going to close now, is Italy is a very specific country. You either just you're like you love it and you're like, this is it. Like I love it. I love it. I don't have to think too hard on this. There was just joy and pleasure and the beauty. There's a beauty. Italy has a resonance to do with beauty that I think goes back to the Renaissance. There's something about the land that is about beauty, whether it's natural beauty or refined beauty in the food and the wine and whatever. And I think China has a different energy. And of course, China being so big, I could not say what that is. But I feel like it's more almost hardworking. Which might sound like a stereotype, but I think nations have energies. related to the land. And China also has that a sense of a stability because I mean it's such a long civilization, not that Italy isn't, but like almost like dynasties that last quite long. So I think each nation has a vibe and your energy, and we'll see what happens for me, like I said, God, goddess willing. Um, each country has a vibe and each person will resonate. It's like a tone. It'll either be harsh to you or it'll resonate to you. And then you just have to kind of take it from there. So we'll see. The place where I am heading, it's not immediate. It definitely isn't immediate. Um, it would be at least a month from now. Um, we'll see if I have that resonance. As I said, my astrocartography is telling me one part of the country, but for many other reasons, another part of the country, even just the language and everything is more this part of the country. So I really am going to be trying to figure that out. But anyway, guys, it was so nice to have you. So many of you stuck around through all of it. Um, and there's so much wisdom, I feel like I should say here in the community, in that so many different experiences, whether we were talking about Cape Town or whether we, talk about China or Italy, all of these experiences come together. And I feel like it does help someone who watches it because most people watch this, they don't watch the live, they don't catch it time wise. So I think just realize that even if you just made a little comment, you might have shared something that may really help someone who is trying to make a decision, like Silver Nomad talking about women getting a lot of attention in Southern Italy, which is something I knew. It could be too much attention for some women. It can be, it can veer into obnoxious. But again, that's that cultural thing that, okay, you maybe you don't get that in China, right? It's a different culture. So your wisdom is going to really help different people who watch this video, and they may pick up something from it that you didn't even expect. So on that note, yeah. Okay, no more figs, guys. I think I'm really going to eat real food, which now that I say it, because I'm plant-based and I cook my food from scratch, I'm realizing that, Viv, do you have food? You have beans. What do you have that's ready to um I think I'm going to do some like curry lentils over some rice with some zucchini. Zucchini's also in season right now. I think zucchini has a long season. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna make. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with me and listening. Maybe some of you were washing your dishes or cleaning your house. I think I'm good to listen to while you clean the house. Love you guys, and yeah, we'll talk again soon. We'll talk again soon. Hey, positive thinking. Italy is our happy place. Yeah, see, she comes in at the end on the Italy note. Yes, solo traveler, because I don't think you were here for that. Solo traveler um, is working in China, but she took a visit to Italy and she's like, okay, wait, wait, I may need so, and it was Southern Italy. So yes, to our love of Italy is our happy place. Yes, ciao, ciao, Bella. Talk to you later. How do I say talk to you later? See, I need to get back on my Italian. Chiamatami? No, that's like call me or oh gosh, guys, I really need to get back on my Italian, but I had given up. I had given up on the language. So just for brain health, though, I need to just keep at it. Just to talk to somebody on the internet in Italian or, you know, because it definitely stretched my brain. So I'm gonna go back to it. Bye for now.